Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
And I'm Alice Fishbein.
Alice Fishbein, how you doing? Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too. I'm glad to be here.
Not too long ago, I was talking to your sister, Rebecca. You might know her.
I very vaguely remember her.
She wrote a book called Floral Estrangements, and it's
Yes.
about how, I guess, back in the day, when you give somebody flowers, it could also be very passive aggressive. And Rose is by any other name can still fuck you. Did have you read the book?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have to look it up as a reference if she sends you flowers? Like, what are you trying to say? There's,
Ooh,
you know?
that's a good, my sister's one of my, if not, my sister is my best friend.
Okay.
So I don't know that she's ever sent me flowers though. So now,
Good.
does
Maybe
that
good.
mean maybe
Good.
good? Given the book, good. But now I'm starting to think maybe there's a deeper meaning to that.
Who's older?
She is.
Okay. How was
Yeah.
it? How far apart?
3.5 years before grades. So we were never in
Okay.
school together, which I think is real ideal. But we did share a bedroom as kids. And there were some age gaps that I think did not help our relationship. But then there were ones that really did. And what is that if not siblings?
Like how? Like she would find you corny if friends were over or what?
No, I think that there was just a time period where I was in like fifth grade and was still a little kid, and she was
Right.
in high school and was
So
trying to be an
mature.
adult. Yeah,
Right.
and that's a weird age gap. I wanted to play still, and she was like, "Leave me alone. I want to listen to my music." But it ended up working out well for me because all of her music ended up becoming my
Right.
music, so I was like ahead of the game.
Sure.
So it worked out really well. I mean, LimeWire, RIP, but man, oh man, was that a game changer.
Do you like things you're not supposed to like? Like my brother's stuck liking Poison, Ride the Wind, and that's my fault. I did that to him. Are there bands like I wish he didn't make me love Kiss?
The Doors.
Okay.
The being obsessed with the Doors as a sixth grader was definitely really weird.
Right,
But
right. This is the end.
yeah, and being like, I love Jim Morrison so much,
Right.
which now looking back, I'm like, that was definitely
Right.
cringe, but that's okay.
He wouldn't look at
Um,
the audience. Don't you get it?
Yeah, he just like the whole thing, how he would record the songs. Because my sister would like read all the books. We're both the type of people that when we get into something, we get really obsessed
Right.
with it and we go full ham on it. And so yeah, now I'm having such flashbacks. She got me into a lot of really cool stuff that I should not have been into at that age. So I do thank her for a lot of my cool factor, I guess, but it was very uncool in sixth grade, but that's fine. I don't think I was ever gonna fit
Right.
in regardless.
You saw the movie The Doors, I assume?
Oh, yes, but it was a big thing that I wasn't allowed to see it until I was 14. And
Okay.
that
That
and my
makes sense.
sister, yeah, yeah, no, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, maybe this was a good call.
That actually got me into The Doors. Like
Really?
I didn't know about The Doors until the movie. And I love witches, What are you gonna do? Uh, do does Rebecca see your shows? She's more the
Yes.
writer, it seems. Obviously, you have to write, but you like stand up, you like performing different characters on stage. But she'll come out and support you.
Yeah, last night I actually had my last New York show before I take my solo show to Edinburgh, and she was at it. She's one of the inspirations of the show,
Okay.
because the show actually came about. We were on a trip to Portugal with our friend Emma, which I think was probably the last time my sister and I will travel like just us together. We have
Yeah.
different travel styles, which is pretty typical and I loved and I had a blast, but
What's that mean? What's different styles?
I
Food?
am like a backpacker kind of style. Everything that will go wrong, everything that can go wrong will go wrong and it's fine.
Oh, she's more a
And
planner.
a little bit more of a planner, which is good, but just different. I also like was go wanted to go out at night a little
Right.
differently. Not even in a big deal, but it was a super fun trip. And basically, if you can't tell, I'm a talker. And we were, after like a full day of traveling, we'd be at dinner and one night my sister, I was probably like talking about who knows what, and she said to me, can Alice do Titanic? like just to get me to be quiet and like do something where
Right.
she and our friend Emma didn't have to like, converse. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I just started doing the movie and it became a thing for the rest of the trip of like anytime we were at a meal or on a hike and they were like, we're ready to zone out and not
You'll
participate
do
in
like
this,
whatever Jack said at dinner.
whatever. Yeah. They'd pick a scene, any scene. And sometimes we'd pick up from where we were. Sometimes they'd just call out a scene, like do the sex scene, whatever it was.
Right. How do you
And
do the sex scene, by the way? You blow on
oh,
the restaurant window and then and then like
you'll
wipe
have to
your
come
hand
to the
on it.
show to see it.
Well, I was just curious when you're out with your friends and they're asking you
Oh
to
no, luckily
perform for
my
them.
friends are no longer, they just come to the show and then they
Okay,
see
good.
it.
Okay.
But yes, no, it's a solo version of the sex scene. Luckily it's a fade to black, so we're good.
Okay. It's called,
Um,
by the way, the show Leo Still Dies in the End is the
mhm.
one woman parody reenactment.
Yes.
And you have a wheel that you spin it or you spin it between scenes and it's random scenes from the movie.
Well, so it's random scenes from my version of
Right.
the movie.
Like what one person, for example, you play a brother who's waiting for their sibling to get off the Titanic. Meanwhile, we all know that obviously the
Yes.
sibling's dead.
So that's actually separate from the show.
Okay.
This is a classic comedy resume. So I also do characters, and one of my characters is a brother waiting for his brother to get off the Titanic, and he doesn't know that it sank, but he hates his brother. So,
How old were you when you saw the Titanic?
so I saw it at 6 because I wasn't allowed to see it at 4 in theaters. Don't
You
do the
rem
math.
do you remember at 4, like, man, I want to see this movie?
Yes. Which probably was my sister's influence. I
Okay.
don't remember. I actually asked her this the other day because, we text nonstop, mostly about Love Island UK at this point. And
Right.
I asked her, do you even remember why I was so into Titanic before even seeing the movie? And she was like, I don't actually know. I assume it was because I probably wanted to see it, which makes sense because she would have been like 10 and a 10-year
Right.
old probably would have had been like, oh, Leonardo DiCaprio, I want to see this movie. Um, so yeah, no, I really
I
wanted to
assume
see
you
it
guys would
for
have about the same bedtime. Like, is she watching it on VHS and you have to be in a different room?
some we had a different bedtime at
Okay.
some point, but I don't know if I did get to stay up later because of her. I have a lot
Right.
like my sister and I, we love to fight. There's this like tweet that we constantly share, which is these two, it was like a text message thread and it's like siblings fighting. And one of them is like, I never want to speak to you again. Don't ever talk to me. Don't text to me. And then it's like an hour later, the same
What you
sibling
doing?
texts, are we still going to the movies?
Right.
That's like, I mean, that's just like what a best friend is, especially one you lived with forever. And so we did have different bedtimes, I think, at some point. But honestly, I think my parents were just like, it's an apartment in New York City. Like, if we send Alice to bed early, she's just going to be awake.
Right.
So I don't think they kind of just like morphed our bedtimes, I think. I honestly don't even remember. But yeah, I wanted to see Titanic so badly. My parents wouldn't let me. My grandparents snuck me into the theater so I could see it for a few minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, and I still remember it. It's in the show. I talk about that. Um,
what's the scene that you got to see?
so I'm pretty certain the scene I saw was right after the like I'm the king of the world scene
Oh, that's the
because
one.
yes, because the boat was just like sailing along on like blue
Right.
water, no icebergs in sight. It was like happy. I for 2 years thought the movie was probably just a really happy movie
Right.
because there was no Wikipedia at the time. And yeah, I then saw the whole movie and it was a game changer after HBO premiered it and my mom taped it for
Okay.
me.
I wonder, it's making me think of the movie Oppenheimer,
Oh yeah.
where I think movies are way too long now. And and then I get a movie pass. And when I lived in New York, I lived right next to a movie theater. So I knew how to
Mm.
time it just right with, previews, etc. So anyway, halfway through, I'm like, this is feeling long, but I can tell it's good. I'm going to watch the other half tomorrow and beat the system. So I go home, I see the other, 3 hours the next day. And I'm glad I did because it seems when I left, other people had the same kind of idea because they're watching it straight through, obviously, like a normal human
Mhm.
being. They get up to go to the bathroom, the bomb drops.
Oh my God.
I wonder if that
And they
happened like
probably
during Titanic, you
and they
know?
probably heard the bomb drop because in the theater
Yes.
it like shook the theater.
Yes. You're
Oh
like,
man.
damn it.
Yeah, they missed the iceberg
So I have an app
hitting the
called
boat.
Run Pee, and it tells you when to go to the bathroom
Oh
if
my
you
God.
want. Oh, it's so
That's
important.
wild.
It's so important in like picture. You're like, when are they hitting the fucking iceberg? I got to go to the bathroom eventually. 30 minutes of credits and the big sodas. So
Bring back the intermission, am I
right.
right? That's why I love theater.
But
Um,
I do too. Right. The actual live theater. Yes.
yeah.
Give us a little break.
Okay, well, my thing is, it's funny you bring this up. So I have 2 points to this. One is that because of how obsessed I was with Titanic, I actually edited my own version together that runs at only 1 hour and 45 minutes. And that's what
Okay.
the show is about, and it's just the key scenes that to me have the same emotional impact because I was watching the movie every day and like you don't have time for that as a kid,
Right.
adult, anything. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I cut together my own version. So that's the first point.
I like
And
it.
then the second point is that my not hot take is that every movie should either be 90 minutes or over 3 hours.
Right. That's a good point.
There's no
That's a
in
very good
between.
point. There's no in between.
No, because the 90-minute movie is perfect.
Yes.
And then the 3 hour movie is actually a 5 hour movie where the director, outside of Titanic, had to fight tooth and nail for every scene to be included. But a 2 hour 15 movie is one that should be 1 hour and 45 minutes. And they didn't do it because they're like, it doesn't matter.
You make so much sense. You make so much
Thank you.
goddamn sense. Has your sister ever wrote something or have you ever performed something about the family that somebody had to say, "Hey, that's too much. We're artists, but come on, that's common sense. You shouldn't have told that story." That ever happened?
I don't think so.
I have a sibling. This like really affected me for a minute, but this is
Yeah, Keith, get into it. Where's this question coming
well,
from?
here's an example. I have a brother that doesn't like me. He says that I talk about him on the show and on Keith and the Girl, and I say I don't though. And he goes, "Well, I know you did because you brought up this story, and the story is during Black Lives Matter. I'm watching all this cop abuse on TV, even you know, during the confrontations after George Floyd died, and after George Floyd was murdered." And somewhere between watching this and the cops not giving a fuck that they're on live TV and still being abusive, and then going to the bathroom and I'm playing Fiona Apple happens to be kick me under the table all you want, I won't shut up. And the two of these things made me bawl my fucking eyes out. And so I wrote to the family chat and like anybody else losing their shit. And this one brother's like, I think if cops are doing something bad, then they're gonna get punished for it. Let me guess,
Ooh,
Keith. All cops are bastards. I'm like, first of all, now I'm pissed off. Name one cop that you like. Well, I
yeah.
don't know all cops, Keith. Like, okay. So anyway, I tell this part of the story, and then later he goes, and I don't like when you talk about me. I'm like, I didn't talk about you. He's like, you said blah blah blah, and I'm like. Well, I didn't say who you were. I said a brother, and you could tell I'm losing my shit. So it was pretty egregious that you kept going. So like something like that would pop up, but not. But you guys are human beings, and you don't have problems like that. Okay, good.
No, I think what's more important is that I come from a family of all lawyers. So I think we've all grown up with emotions being very high at all times. And
Right.
so I think we just are like pretty open booked about so many things that I don't know. Like, I'm sure there would be stories, and I think we just know not to like tell them. I can't even think of one. It's not even like I'm like, oh, that story.
Right.
I couldn't think of one right now. Um,
Do you guys
Also
being
for
in
what
a being with a family of lawyer types? I have a brother
a
who
different brother.
a different brother who plays devil's advocate to things that
Mm,
it kind of starts upsetting me. And I know it's ever since he took a, debate course in college, which they
Oh,
really got to stop teaching.
yeah.
It's like, oh, here you're going to take the opposite side that you don't give a fuck about. Well, really, that's
Right.
really setting up an adult to be an asshole. And so I'll bring up like, oh, Donald Trump's selling a cologne,
Oh
$200
gosh.
perfume called, you know,
Yeah.
Victory, and he's like, and my brother goes, well, actually, it's a third party thing, and they're just using his name, and he doesn't really make money for that. I'm like, motherfucker, he's holding it up and he's tweeting it out, and what the? Well, actually, it's different. Like, and then he goes, well, is it Medicaid? Like the real problem we should focus on? I'm like, it's all related. That you're making
Right.
excuses for bullshit. Do you guys have that problem being lawyers? Like, hey, let me show you the defense of this thing. It's like, yeah, but do you believe it? Just in the family, do you
Yeah.
believe it?
Oh no, 1000%. That you just described my grandpa. My grandpa, who was
Right.
a defense attorney,
Okay.
loved playing devil's advocate. He loved chess, like he loved that
Mm,
whole game.
right.
Um, so yes, we do have it.
Okay.
Luckily it doesn't tend, at least in especially in my like, my parents, me and my sister, it doesn't tend to be like devil's advocate over politics kind of stuff. Though sometimes my parents do love to go, well, but the Constitution says, and that's
Uh-huh.
very fun because my sister and I will be like, oh, yeah, we know, but it's
Yeah.
like there is a sense of like,
So I'm bringing a gun into the house now, Dad.
right,
You
like,
know,
yeah,
or
you're
whatever the
just
fuck.
like,
Yeah.
it's more, we're a very anti-gun family, thank God.
But
But
the Constitution says.
yeah, but luckily they're like, yeah, but the Constitution says like rifles. So like it
Oh,
took like
okay.
400 hours for them to
Okay.
load it. Like they're not like holding on to what the founding fathers were
Right.
like predicting for the future, but they're also like it need, like bend it, they're very
Right.
much progressives and liberals and that family. Um so we don't like have that luckily in the immediate family, but like extended out and oh yeah, I'm sure. Uh, but
Later on during the show, I want to talk about Diddy being denied bail. I didn't cover that part recently, but when you when members of your family are working for the defense, let's say not even talking Diddy. Let's say you personally are like, this is a fucking bad dude. How do you or your family members deal with that? Is it as because I know a defense attorney and he does help some people that I assume are real bad dudes, and he just makes peace with it. That everybody deserves a defense no matter what.
yeah,
Is it that simple? And you're
yeah,
like, hey, otherwise,
yeah.
because it's what a slippery
It's
slope or
it's the way I was always told it, and like my day job is as a paralegal in criminal defense, which is wild for a comedian, but that's how
right,
it goes. Um, it's that the system always needs to be pushed. And so if the system doesn't work correctly, even for someone who maybe actually did something bad, it's not going to work for someone who didn't do something bad. So you're always kind of testing the like system that was built in the country and hoping that it works correctly. Also, like a lot of the times, like there are different ways of doing it. Sometimes the circumstances lead to something bad happening. Sometimes it's a systemic situation that is outside your client's control and needs to be fixed. And you're like,
right,
well, there's a bigger issue here than, someone having a gun. The bigger problem is like what made someone have to have a gun in this
right.
scenario and like all of that. So I think that that's kind of how I was brought up always thinking of it and continue to is that it's a system that needs to be tested. And I would rather have someone oh gosh, I would rather have someone who is guilty be let go than someone who
Sure.
is not guilty be put in. And obviously, more often than not, someone who's not guilty does get put into jail for something and convicted of something. So,
Did you ever like think about a family member and be like, sure, but do you have to test the system with a billionaire? You know
well,
what I
I
mean?
mean, a billionaire, yeah, well, that's its own. see, that's like a side system. That's the thing. Because, like, I
Right.
mostly do, and so my family too, everyone does work for people who can't afford attorneys. So,
Okay.
like, everyone's doing like 18B and CJA, which is like a whole different game, which is meaning court assigned work.
Okay.
So I don't know the system that the billionaires get in on, but then in itself, it's like, okay, is the system different given how much money you have? Meaning, does the system work differently
Right.
if you have a lot of money or if you don't?
Okay.
And I think
Well, the
we
audience
all
likes you again.
know.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good news. One of your shows is called Mind the Apps,
Yes.
a character showcase about dating. Are you
Yep.
dating currently?
I'm always dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm a dater, but not someone who loves to be dating. Does that make sense?
Sure. We call it fucking, right?
Your words, not mine.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What's the longest relationship you've been in?
Uh, I've actually never been in a long-term relationship. But if you're asking about a situationship, 6 years.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but I guarantee he would not say 6 years, so that's the
Right.
problem.
All right.
Yeah, no, I have not. I love my independence. I'm just like a
Sure.
classic modern woman in that way. And I read too much romantasy and I'm like, oh, that's what I want. So
Say it
I
again.
think,
What does that mean?
oh, I read too much romantasy. That's romantic fantasy.
Okay.
It's like the fairy books.
Oh,
They're
so
great.
like how fun is it to for lack of a better word, fall in love? Why not keep doing that all the time? So like that?
No, like men that are written by women.
Okay.
And
You,
so, oh gosh. Yeah.
huh,
So this could be like a whole, I mean, there are a million podcasts probably
right.
about this, but basically, yeah, no, I don't, I just think that like men are struggling a bit right now and I don't feel bad about it, but they are. And so I have
Like
not
what?
found,
Like it's not a man's world anymore, or what do you mean?
they think that.
Right.
Um, yeah, I just think that like a lot of the men are really bad right now.
Oh yeah,
And they
yeah.
gotta get their shit together before
Yeah.
I'm gonna date them. Um, so I do think, and like, you know, I talk with friends all the time about this, male friends, female friends, every type of friend. And um, yeah, dating is rough right now, which is why a comedy show about it's amazing.
Right.
Because yeah, just like I don't know what's going on, my dude. These
Yeah.
men,
Somebody
they
asked me
need
the other day, what it was it like how do you feel being a man? And I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it, but it's not great.
I have
And,
a
and
one of
not that again, it is of course it's a man's world still, but
yeah.
yeah,
I,
men are not looking good.
nah, I have a friend and I constantly text him being like, I hate men. They're such shit. And he's like, listen, I'm not vouching for my gender.
Right.
I'm a girl's girl. Like, what do you want from me? And I'm like, I know, but I needed to vent to one of you so you understand. Um,
Speaking of men being shitty, the show's called Leo Still Dies in the End, which
yes.
by the way, that is fucking creepy how his dating, right? Like what is
Oh
it? What's
yeah.
the limit? 25?
There's a joke in the show
Of
about that.
course.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah. Yeah, I you know what? In case I ever meet him, I'm going to preserve my thoughts on him.
Are you older than 25? Because there's no point then.
Sadly, yes, but maybe he'll grow the age. I don't think I want to date him, to
I'm
be
the
clear.
one.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. I think child me was like, "Oh, I'm going to marry that man." But like,
But
who else who wasn't?
is this a stupid question? When he's on like a yacht with an 18-year-old, and how old is he now? 50? When what
Probably.
and then there's all these other people on the yacht too. They don't look at him creepy, or is it like, hey, we're creepy too? We want 18-year-olds.
I I always am like, I don't know if he actually wants the 18-year-old. I think he just parties a lot. And I'm gonna
And they're
I,
the only ones who can keep up.
that's yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I think he's really like dating. I think okay. I think a thing about fame, because I've thought about this a lot,
Hmm.
is that if you're someone who did not immediately shut down the paparazzi, Meryl Streep, she's perfect.
Right.
I think you start finding coping mechanisms to pivot the paparazzi away from whatever's actually going on in your life. So I don't know that I think he's necessarily actually dating any of these people. I think he's like, I'm going to surround myself with fun people and just have fun. And the paparazzi and like they can like do
Hmm.
what they want with it. I'm not saying that I think that like lots of men are not doing bad things as well. I just
Are
am
you on
not.
his defense team? You have to say.
I'm on his I don't know what the deal is team. So I
Okay.
would just be like,
Good for you. Hey, we got enough problems we know for sure about,
right.
right?
Like
So
I'm like,
let's let it go. Right, of course.
and until, he like until someone is texting Millie Bobby Brown,
Right,
and we have like the receipts, I'm sort of like,
right.
I'm not going to condemn someone that it's always the paparazzi telling us and not like him telling us
Okay.
things.
All right. Yeah, yeah. Let's
So
let's focus on Drake, right?
yeah, let's focus. Come on, Team Kendrick forever. So exactly.
Did somebody recommend I like the title, Leo Still Dies in the End.
Thank you.
Did you did you have to change it from anything? Did somebody say don't add DiCaprio or anything like this?
No, I did talk to a copyright attorney about the show in general, about a year ago. No, probably less. It was before I started applying for Fringe because I was like, before I take this internationally, like let me cover my bases. And
Right.
there were like certain things with the original show where she was like, I would change this, like the poster, and um she was worried because I sing the music in it, like I hum it.
And
And
you're
when she
singing so good that Siri gets confused.
it turns out my singing voice is actually so bad that legally it can't be considered music.
And that's the
According
part
to
they're suing. It's like, take a fucking lesson if you're going to use My Heart Will Go
yeah,
On.
yes. Literally, she was like, at first, she was like, like you're singing the music on stage, like what are you doing? And then she watched the show and she was like, oh,
You're
never
good.
mind.
I
She was like,
see.
"Are do you think you're doing the music?" And I was like, "Yeah, it sounds spot on to me." What like James Horner would be so proud.
Right.
And she was like, "No, I think he would be horrified." Um so no, no one ever said I had to change the title. Um because like he does die in the show.
Right. I
That's
I
it.
uh I did in a stand-up album I had. It's called "I'm Dating Your Mom," and I did a track on Louis C.K. Taking his dick out, fake apologizing, and now
I
he's
was gonna
like,
say before or after.
right after. And but I tried to call it Louis C.K., but I wasn't allowed to do that. And I think because it seemed like I was trying to trick people into downloading it, which I wasn't.
Oh.
But then I changed it to Louis Dick Jokes, and I'm like, I think that works even better. All right, that's fine. That's
Honestly, I love that people will like look him up on Spotify and then come across yours instead. That's
Yeah, I enjoy
perfect.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
let me remind you about him.
Yeah,
So you're going to Edinburgh,
I
and
am.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, I'm super excited. It will be my second time in Scotland, but my first time doing Fringe. So, very excited. 17 shows in a row, which is
Okay,
wild. So every day for 17 days at 10 p.m. At Gilded Balloon, which is supposedly a cool venue, and they've been like really great to deal with so far. So, um,
great.
I say all this because I haven't been to the theater yet,
Right.
but yeah, I'm super excited.
All right.
I can't believe someone's letting me do this show 17 times, but
Does your show have you mentioned, fade to black and there's going to be music. Are there a lot of moving parts that you get nervous about? Like, what if this doesn't click right there?
um yes. I mean, no, because like I'm a performer.
Right.
I know it's so cringe, but everyone's got to do improv. Shout out to my improv team, Princess Bleach,
Mhm.
because it really, like, you can't, I just think that you're starting at such a disadvantage if you don't do improv as a
Right.
performer. So in the show, there's actually a significant amount of improv in that how the show works is that there's a wheel that chooses the scenes for the first half of the movie. 10 and there's 10 scenes. We only get through like 4 each show. So the show
Okay.
changes every time you see it. And basically I don't know which scenes it's going to land on to start. And like I've done it where the first scene it lands on is the boat hitting the iceberg. And I'm just like, so Jack and Rose, who are they? Like, you'll find out. And it's honestly, it's so funny when that
Right.
happens. I last night the first scene was them making out for the first time. Like it just can always be all over the place. Sometimes it starts with one of the scenes of them getting on the boat. Like you never know. So that's a moving piece. And then in the show, I play every role, but I also play myself as a viewer of the movie at various ages. So like sometimes I say things about
Mm,
how I thought about it at 6 versus how I thought about it like when I watched it yesterday.
right.
And
What
the
were they
in
doing in the car when you were 6?
oh, well, I thought that when she put her hand on the window and flew it back and like, put it
The
down,
condensation, yeah.
yeah, I thought that meant Kate Winslet was suffocating.
But I
Yes.
thought we liked them. Uh-oh.
I just was like, oh, I hope she's okay. And then she's like on the deck next time. I'm like, ooh, I guess she needed air. Um, my mom also like fast forwarded through naked Kate Winslet. So
All
like
right.
I didn't, as a kid, I didn't get to, which is like part of the show. Like all of
Right.
this is in it. So it's very,
Okay.
it's a movie that's grown as I've grown because I like have seen it so many different ages. Um, but yeah, so the interjections that I make as an audience, as like a viewer of the movie change. Some things I end up saying repeatedly, but in each show, but I come up with like different things every time I do the show. So you could see the same scenes in the exact same order, which has never happened, but like let's
Right.
say magically the probability class you took in high school like failed you
Right.
and you actually got the same thing twice. You would still see a different show because sometimes I just think of things, which I'm sure drives my director absolutely
Right.
batshit because he's like, that thing you said, that was great. Say it again. And I'm like, I have no idea what I said.
Right. You ever
But
think of rigging the wheel, or do you know that would be cheating?
so I do have some like little cheat sheets for it. But they're not like for me, they're more for the audience's sake. Um, so like for example, if you see the show, you will get to see either the kissing scene, the drawing scene, or the sex scene, sometimes more than one, but you're guaranteed to see at
Okay.
least one of them because no one wants to see a Titanic show that's a one-woman show without one of the three most iconic scenes.
It's only the asshole looking jealous at at Leo over and over again.
Exactly. So like that's a rule that I put in. Another rule is like if we're already on the boat, I'm probably not going to go back to the before they're on the boat scenes if we've
Right.
gone far into like there is a level of like even though it's not continuous, I do want continuity of some type. And like there's scenes that are more fun in different orders. But no, although a friend last night after seeing it was like, just so you know, we can't see what's written on the wheel because it's like
Right.
far enough away. So like you could pick whatever scene you want. But for me, some of the fun is like
Sure.
not knowing what it's going to land on. That said, sometimes it's like the third scene in, and I'm like, I don't want to do that scene right now. And I'll just go like, "Ching," and like move the wheel and be like, it's
That's
my
funny.
show. And
Did that
everyone laughs at it.
have you been to Ireland before? Have you seen where
Yes.
it was built?
No, I did not get to go to Belfast. I went to Dublin and Galway and the Aran Isles, but I didn't end up going to the north.
Because whoever you were with didn't seem into it? Because
No, I was alone actually. I didn't go
I mean, it's just a big
because
hole, but it is huge. It is
I
amazing
know,
for a
but
second.
I really wanted to go to the Titanic Museum.
Yeah.
But a boy from there once promised me he would take me, and then he broke my heart. So
Mm.
I was like on that trip, which was a couple years ago. I was like, I'm not going near that part. We're gonna stay in the parts that are untainted.
Oh, that's funny.
Um, but now I would go. Like, I don't care anymore. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
That's how
exactly.
you say fuck you. He can do
Yeah.
whatever he wants with
Yeah,
his life
whatever.
right now. I'm going to take back the power.
Let's just say one of us looks good and one of us doesn't. So, oh gosh, I hope he hears this. Just kidding. Um,
Yeah, you're just kidding. Rosie O'Donnell moved to Ireland because she's
yes.
nervous about this country, specifically hates Donald Trump. So she's in Ireland living there. Donald Trump has just said today, as of this recording, what is this? July 12th, 2025. He is threatening to revoke Rosie O'Donnell's American citizenship. So it's like she's like, I quit, and he's like, you're fired, and she's like, I already quit. No, you're fired. Uh, he says that Rosie O'Donnell is a threat to humanity on True Social. Because of
Sorry.
the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not in the best interests of our great country, I
Yes.
am giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship. Right, we don't got bigger things to focus on, you piece of shit. She is a
God.
threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland. She said she will, if they want her. God bless America. The outburst followed O'Donnell's July 7th Huffington Post interview, which she discussed her decades long feud with the former president and her 2024 move to Ireland. I look at America and I feel overwhelmingly depressed, O'Donnell said. 63, yeah, move. Citing her need to protect her mental health and care for her 12-year-old son who has autism. I knew what the Trump administration was planning to do because I read Project 2025. I know what he's capable of, and I didn't want to put myself through another 4 years of him being in charge. So she left, and he can't help it. Like, oh, yeah? Well, fuck you. I picked up and left because of the inauguration because I wasn't going to take any chances. Donald Trump's public feud began in 2006 after she criticized him on The View over his handling of the Miss USA controversy. So I Googled that, and that's him walking into locker rooms. But I don't like
Yes.
that they just said Miss USA. It was also Miss Teen USA as well, that you
Oh
would walk
gosh,
into
I
the locker
forgot that it
rooms.
was the
Yeah,
teens.
it's like if something was rape and you call it assault. I'm like, no, be clear, it was teens also.
Oh God.
I can
It's
just
so
walk
fun that
in.
he has so many things that you
Yeah.
can't even remember how bad some of them are because your brain just has to like unclock them, honestly.
Yeah, maybe that's the trick. Like just overdo it so we can't keep track of how many felonies.
I mean, I do think that is part of his vibe.
Maybe. Let's see. She called Trump a snake oil salesman on Little House on the Prairie. Oh, Paul would not like him and dismissed his claim of being self-made, pointing to his wealthy father. Trump hit
Mhm.
back in a People interview saying his father never get. Can you imagine? You have to do an interview. You go, no, no. Not only did my father not give me
Daddy never
money,
gave me money.
right? He threatened to sue.
God.
You know, Jesse Joyce was writing for the roast of Donald Trump years ago, and one of the jokes was like somehow be I don't know having like I don't know $50 million, and Trump was like, you need to change this 70 million. It's like no, whatever the punchline is, it makes fun of you. Who gives a fuck? But that's very important.
Well,
Okay,
wasn't that like he was on The Nanny and I think, don't,
sure,
come at me if I'm wrong about these
right.
details, but The Nanny, my one of my favorite shows of all time,
Hmm.
they made a lot of jokes about him and he demanded to be on the show and Fran Drescher like did not want him on and I think he like came after the show in some way where like
Jesus,
aka probably his daddy was like you have to let him on
right,
the show and so he like comes on and has a cameo and it's so uncomfortable because you can tell they just did
right.
not want him there. So
Rosie will
that's how
rue
it
the words
is.
she said. He said at the time, Rosie's a loser, a real loser. You can picture that. O'Donnell described her move as one of self preservation. I wasn't up for the battle. The cost was too high. I still believe in the virtue of the fight. I just couldn't do it personally. I don't blame her. Watching Trump's second term from abroad, O'Donnell added, I think it's as bad as everyone worried it would be. I believe fascism has taken a foothold in the United States. I agree completely. But why
Yeah.
can't we just sit down with a Nazi? Everybody has a different point of view. That's all. I don't even like the flag motif anymore, Alice. I think America has the best looking flag, quite frankly. And now I don't even want to wear a shirt with a motif on it.
It was interesting. I got to go to Cowboy Carter and
Congrats.
thank you. Thank you. Honestly, one of the biggest honors of my
Another
life.
DEI show, but go on.
A show that deserves a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah.
Like truly, they have to make a special category for that show.
Okay.
Um, but what was fascinating is that for I was in a crowd of what is MetLife, like 50,000, seventy five
Right.
thousand people, all wearing like cowboy, American flag, like all the stuff that makes me normally extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it was the only time I've ever felt safe in like that kind of environment. Um,
Good. It only takes
And
Beyonce to take the flag back
like
for two
truly, and
hours. Yeah.
that's 3
3 hours.
hours.
I didn't mean them. Yeah.
She went on, and I mean that in the most positive way ever. I mean, I could do like
Right.
7,000 hours of Beyonce. And according to TikTok, I do anyway. Um, but she like it was and everyone in the crowd, everyone I know who went was saying the same thing. Like, this is everyone at a Beyonce concert is not the person that would be pro flag right
Right.
now. And everyone was saying like Beyonce is the only person that could get me to wear like red, white, and blue right now. Because it was a 3 hour protest. And
Right.
it was fascinating because the protest starts before the concert because she has 75,000 people coming in clothes they would not be wearing otherwise,
Right.
knowing they're coming for a purpose. And so I'm with you. Like that,
Yeah.
I see that flag and I'm like, ugh,
I was in the army and I'm disgusted by the flag now.
wow.
Yeah, it's it ain't America. You know, maybe we should have known like how bad this country could get when every 4th of July all the firework damage you read about that people do to themselves. It's a dumb fucking country. How about that? 10,000 ER visits
Yeah.
this year, 10 deaths, 30% children under 15 getting hurt, 35% to people's hands and fingers. Over 30,000 fires get started from these fireworks.
I
America
mean,
can't handle nothing.
yeah, I mean, I think the gender reveal parties in California that are
Right,
causing the wildfires, to me, I was like, that tells me everything I need to know. Because,
right,
like, how are you setting off fireworks in a state in a drought during the dry season? Like,
right.
what? Just to find out if you're having like a boy or a girl, like, who cares?
So getting into the Diddy case, you had something to do with it. You weren't necessarily on Diddy's team. Is that okay to say?
Sure.
Okay. But I just don't want the audience thinking that the guest is being aloof or anything.
Oh, yes, fair enough. Not being aloof, just not able to discuss.
Gotcha. I understand that Diddy's lawyer said, you know what, give my client bail if he's only accused of so many crimes and not the big RICO deal. And in fact, Diddy can offer up $1 million and homes as collateral for his bail. To me, that looks even worse. Like he can offer $1 million. Oh, can he? What a fucking surprise. Okay. Um, one of uh, one of Diddy's kids said, whenever the verdict was read, like, "Oh, thank goodness it was only these charges, and I love these lawyers. They're the real dream team." I'm like, that's what they call OJ's team. Oh shit. Okay,
Oh,
that's an
man.
interesting that's an interesting way to compare it. But all right, they were all great lawyers, I suppose. Um, do you have any? Could you comment on this? And no pressure. Did it work against the prosecution that it was all women because people are so sexist? Did it look like, oh, I gotta, I don't know if we believe women as it goes. So now you're telling, so the women are telling me what happened to women that I got a question about. There's just all these women. Do you think that could be a bad move because people are so dumb?
I think in general, people don't believe women, and that
Right.
includes women. So I'm not going to comment on that case specifically, but I'm
Okay.
going to pivot to that instead.
Right.
I think that like women in general are just not believed a lot, and I think that's and it's frustrating because then people will say things like, well, if he being a different any he, I don't mean a
Sure.
specific one, he definitely didn't do anything wrong because no one came forward. And it's like, well, people don't want to come forward
Of
because they don't
course.
want their lives ruined and to be called liars
Right.
for the rest of their lives. And then uh Chris Brown sells out concerts,
Right. Right.
while
Do
like
you
I just think that it's just
and
an
we all saw the
unfortunate,
pictures,
yeah.
of Rihanna. Do you see in court in general the way a jury treats a male prosecutor or defendant or lawyer on either side compared to a woman? Do you see a difference? It
Uh
makes me think of these fucking hurricanes where apparently women hurricanes do more damage because people don't take the name of a woman so seriously and they don't board up their shit properly. True story. Do you see a difference with people?
I haven't been on trials where I can like figure that out. I haven't
Okay.
actually participated in a trial in a while, so don't have the experience to
Okay.
say it. That said, I'm not surprised about the hurricane thing.
Isn't that
Um,
crazy? That's
that
true.
that's you know, as a woman, I'm like, it's not that crazy. I could easily see
I bet
the
she won't
like
even
the
show up this
pipeline.
hurricane.
Right, right. Like this, oh, she'll be weak.
She'll be
Like
late.
she'll be late, she'll be weak, and I'm not paying money if I don't have guarantees.
That's right. That's right.
Like I just think given the male mindset, I'm not really
Yeah.
surprised by that. But I think also like I do think there's a reason like women talk about how like women hate women all the time. Um, like look at the government. Like it's
Right.
our current government is not all male, and the women are some of the worst players in it. Like I do think that women can be bad. That said, I think men are worse in
Sure.
general. So that's it.
Diddy's
That
so of course bail is denied. He's still in prison. The sentencing date so far is October 3rd. Maximum sentence, each of the two things, which what transportation to engage in prostitution. Like, well, no shit, that we know you did. Maximum sentence of 10 years each. Prosecutors saying he'll get roughly 4 to 5 years, or is hoping uh, total. Defense saying are hoping for about 2 years. There was a point where Diddy said to the judge, like whenever he's like he's saying whenever he's given his like you know brief closing whatever the fuck saying I'm saying I'm not guilty for anything at the end. He said, how are you feeling so far? Do you believe? Oh, the defense was saying we rest. We're not bringing up any more people to the stand. And the judge said, "Are you cool with that, Diddy?" And Diddy said, "Yeah, I'm cool with that. And by the way, Judge, you're doing a great job." And the judge goes, "Thank you." I'm like, "Oh no, I don't know why that felt weird to me." I'm like, "I want the judge from A Few Good Men, where the judge goes, 'Yeah, I know. I've been doing this for a long fucking time.'"
I will say movies do not depict what's going
Yeah,
on in the courtroom
it's not as
correctly.
thrilling,
No, no. Although I'm still waiting for the day my cousin Vinny becomes
right?
reality. That one's actually probably a closer one in some ways, which is
Right,
funny. But yeah, no, I just remember like watching Legally Blonde as a kid and being
right,
like, "Oh," and then my parents would love to sit like and they like love that movie,
right,
but they'll both be like, "That would never happen." Like who like because like if you have like if your like client or a witness is on the stand, like you prepare them and they would be like,
right,
who prepared these witnesses? In what way would like the daughter have admitted she like murdered her dad?
right.
Like what? That's not, these outbursts don't happen. It's a lot more paperwork and like stuff like that. And
If your
yeah,
hair took time to relax, then how would you have time to?
the what is it like the hydranium thiglycomate? Oh my
Right,
God.
yeah, right.
Don't take away my like license to womanhood. I promise I know like the whole quote. I just can't think of it on the spot. Um, yeah, no. It's the same way that like doctors can't watch like medical shows,
Sure.
which I
Right.
get, although I'm like, damn, the idea of not being able to watch The Pit is pretty heartbreaking. But that's why I'm not a doctor.
That's right.
I saw Grey's Anatomy and said, I want to keep watching this show forever.
Ryan V wrote, "Dear Keith, I give enough shits about this email to fill the entire trunk of a rapper's burning luxury car. Great episode as always with recent returning guest Felicia Gillespie. Here's a quick anecdote in support of her point that people don't believe women and say they sound crazy when they describe the abuses they suffer. A good friend of mine, whom I've known since she was 13 years old, spent about 7 or 8 years in a relationship with a horrible junkie drug addict piece of shit, compulsive liar, narcissist abuser. He messed her up pretty bad and just about ruined her whole entire life. After they finally broke up, she started getting her life back together. She went to college where she took a creative writing class. For one assignment, she was having trouble being creative enough to think about what to write about, so she just wrote down a bunch of true stories about the abuse she suffered and framed it in the perspective of a fictional character. The teacher returned her work with a bad grade and a note saying, "This is poor writing because it's too absurd and unbelievable. No one would ever believe that someone would actually go through something like this, and you need to rate stories that are more realistic. End quote. She literally just wrote about stuff that actually happened to her. What the fuck, right? Lots of love, Ryan. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Evan Rachel Wood, who says she was abused by Marilyn Manson, said of
Yep.
the Diddy verdict, there's no consent in the domestic violence relationship. You fucking idiots is implied. I added that. Period. Once the threat of violence is there, you comply. You do not consent. It is self-preservation and survival. It is not freely or willingly given. It is forced and coerced out of you. We clearly have a long way to go in our understanding of this. I saw recently Michael Madsen died, the actor Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill. By the way, this sick fuck. They in Reservoir Dogs. Have you seen Reservoir Dogs?
Oh yeah, but
And he
but years ago.
and and he cuts the air off the guy, and then
Right.
stuck in the middle with you, and
Right,
he
right, right.
talks into the air and is like, "Can you hear me, you motherfucker?" That's he cut off his head. And then I learned that wasn't in the script. Even Tarantino, this sick fuck, didn't think of talking into the air. Like Madsen made that up. Hey, look
That's because
into
it
him.
was an ear, not feet.
Right, that's right. So I see these tributes to Michael Madsen. He beat his wife. Like this happened in 2024. It's now 2025. What do we? I guess if you're bad, just die, and everybody, you're an asshole to bring it up, right?
Yeah, I do wonder that, because, what is the mourning period for someone who's, like, exceptionally bad and knowingly bad? Like, are you allowed to just jump immediately onto the, like, butt wagon, or do
But
you
when
have
did
to,
I
like,
do it? Like I got hassle, let's say, for what was it? Robin Williams died, and I brought up him being a joke thief. And it's like, now, Keith, and I'm like, okay, in 2 months I'll bring it up. When would you like me to bring it up? It's almost like there's this flooding in Texas. I know these are weird comparisons, but there's the flooding in Texas, and it's like, well, you're cutting. You're not Christy Nome is cutting FEMA's powers. They
hmm
couldn't show up ahead of time. They needed your permission to go out and save lives. And you didn't do nothing until 72 hours later. People are dying. And Trump, of course, are cutting, the weather services that warn us about
right.
all this shit. And it's like, really now? It's almost like after a school shooting. Really now? You got when? Well, there wasn't a school shooting in 3 days. Now should I bring it up?
I think the thing is that if the I'm just putting this connection together,
Please.
so bear with
Uh
me
huh.
as I deal with the processing. I think that if what you're commenting on benefits the people who died, then it's okay. Meaning, like, when there's a school shooting, I think it's okay to be like, The Onion every time runs the most perfect headline of there's nothing we can do about this, says only nation where this happens regularly. And
Right.
they just change the picture each time.
Yes.
And so, like, I think that's okay because you're saying, like, this thing happened because of this.
Is it okay
And
to say, hey, let's not praise a wife beater?
yeah, so that one's more complicated. And I mean, I don't have a problem with it, to be clear.
Thank you.
I'm like, I don't think I even clocked that he had died because I was like, all right.
Right.
Like, saw the New York Times push alert and was like, cool, got 4 million other things I need to care about
Right.
more. But yeah, that is a weird thing. I don't
You,
because, like, if someone dies of, like, overdosing, you don't immediately jump into, like, well, this happened because of, like, our
right.
failure as a society. So it is a weird thing. I think, like, there is, I don't know, maybe go with, like, let them sit Shiva, meaning, like, give it, like, a solid 7 days, and then, like, either, like, Shiva or the video from The Ring, just, like, launch in at that point. I
I
don't
did.
know.
He died July 3rd, so I gave him a couple days.
There you go. I think you're
How about that?
fine. I think
Re-
that's fine.
Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill Volume 2, The Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, oh, Tarantino, of course, Thelma and Louise, Donnie Brasco, Sin City. Madsen had 6 children. In 2024, August of 2024, so not a year ago, Madsen was arrested on battery charge after he assaulted his wife. He was released after his bail was set for $20,000. Well, luckily he had it. Madsen was released from custody after posting the same bail. Multiple arrests related to DUIs, domestic battery, and trespassing. Yeah, trespassing against women that he dated. Madsen was found unresponsive by authorities responding to a 9/11 call at his home in Malibu. He was pronounced dead at the scene, age 67. The cause of death, according to his manager, was cardiac arrest. Well, natural causes. You eat a pound of cocaine, you die naturally. Okay. All right. Now the Texas flood, by the way, 200 people missing, 130 dead that they
Yep.
know of. And by the way, and the water, of course, carries you out. Like these search and rescues are miles long. You could be stuck in a tree, fucking towns away.
Yeah.
For months, officials at FEMA have been warning that the agency is unprepared for disasters due to the mass exodus of experienced emergency managers and the looming threat of being dismantled. They were proven right last week when floodwaters surged across central Texas and bureaucratic obstacles hindered FEMA's ability to respond. For officials inside the agency said. This is what I was talking about. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem issued a memo in June that she must personally approve every contract and grant over $100,000. Under that directive, FEMA officials couldn't pre-position urban search and rescue crews closer to the disaster zone because Noem didn't authorize their deployment until more than 72 hours after the flooding began. Texas officials are blaming the National Weather Service forecast for not predicting, quote, the amount of rain that we saw after facing federal budget and staffing cuts. Yes, this fucking matters. There's a right wing supporter, like was a producer for Sean Hannity. Anyway, her name is Kylie Creamer, and people are showing that not too long ago she tweeted out climate change is a hoax, one after another, like a child. Climate change is a hoax. Climate change is a
Oh,
hoax.
yeah,
Climate change
yeah.
is a hoax.
Yes. Say it 3 times and it'll come faster,
Right,
probably.
and then another tweet. I've been trying to wrap my head around how the flooding in Texas became so devastating so quickly. Why not evacuate? Then I saw this. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes around 4 a.m. That doesn't even seem natural. Well, it's the new natural. Climate change is a hoax. Climate change is a hoax. And I can't help but wonder now, is this anti-Semitic? It doesn't seem natural. Right, guys? Hello, space lasers?
Oh my gosh. I like kindly read a fucking book. Like
Yes.
I can't. I worked on climate change briefly and
Yeah.
so like yeah, I worked very briefly for Obama. First job out of college.
All
Well, I
right.
was like or I guess like interned whatever. And yeah, I my department doesn't even exist anymore, of course.
Right.
And it's crazy like to me. I I remember so I worked in legislative affairs for the environmental department in so for him. So my job was mostly like transcribing what was going on in the Senate and the House. And I remember very early on being like, Trump's gonna win. Trump's gonna win.
Damn.
And of course, my family was like, don't say that, like knocking on all
Like
the
you're
wood
doing it. Right.
everywhere. And I was like, I don't want it. I'm just telling you based on how like discussions, remember this was during Flint,
Right.
like how those debates were going on between senators and don't even get me started on the House, but my God. But what was happening and how they were framing it, I was just like, we're goners. Like it's
Right.
if these are the people being elected, then think about who's electing them. Like this is and they're running on the and everyone's up for reelection and all of that and they're still saying all this stuff. Just like put two and two together. It's wild to me that this country is so anti science.
But how
Like
don't you know like something's going on? Whether it is man made, whether it's company made, whether it's God made, it's happening. It's
I,
happening.
I think that these people, are just like absolute batshit freaks. Like that's kind
Right.
of it. Like Team Tim Walls forever. They're
Right.
weird.
Yeah.
And um and I think the levels of illiteracy in this country on multiple counts is like skyrocketing. I think but I think this is like the American mindset, and that's the problem. So, like, one thing I learned is when I was working in this field and was like very into it and everything, and still am into it. I just like post 2016, you couldn't get a job in it if you were starting out. So
Mm,
like that was kind of unfortunately because everyone sort of got like demoted because of the departments all like imploding within in the Trump administration.
right.
And um in Europe, their mindset is so like think about the bees, right? Everyone talks about like the bees, bee colony collapse
Hmm.
and like neonicotinoids and neonics. So in
That
Europe,
sounds like biohacking to me, but go on.
so in Europe, the rule is when they think something might be bad, they ban it until it's proven not to be bad.
Okay.
In the US, we can't ban anything. Like the
Right.
government refuses to ban anything or like, you know, except for people
Right. Right.
and rights and all the things that you didn't even think someone could ban, but they find a
Right.
way. Um, they ban and they won't ban and they do the studies as it's happening. So then they get to be like, oh, it turns out like, yeah, bee colonies are collapsing. And if they do, like our food's going to disappear and we're going to have to do like basically what Matt Damon did in The Martian, and all of our food is going to be so expensive. But like, we never banned them. So like, we can try now, but like, question
Right.
mark. And I think that is like exactly what's going on in this country is that there's no understanding of like, what if we like protected each other first and then talked about like, is this necessary? Like,
Right.
there's no testing to find out. There's just nothing. There's just, no, we don't care. I mean, I think COVID taught us all that. Like,
Right.
I think if ever there was something that the lesson, I mean, there's so many lessons from COVID, but if ever there was like a very large one, it's that
Right.
no one in this country gives a shit about each other if it means that it gets in the way of what they want, and usually like in a capitalistic way. And
I'm gonna
that's
start
so
doing.
frustrating.
I'm gonna start saying like these politicians do. You know what? I need to see the numbers.
Yeah, like truly, like that's the thing. Like,
And it's like,
give
oh,
us the
here
numbers.
they are. Yeah, I'm gonna need to see the numbers. Okay, isn't it your job to have the numbers? Yeah, I'm gonna see those. I'm gonna need to see the numbers. Uh, I'm gonna do it for regular shit. Like, oh, Keith, you're late to dinner. Yeah, I'm gonna see the numbers on that. Yeah, did you forget to do the dishes? I'm gonna need to see the numbers. Well, you said you're gonna do them. Yeah, I'm just saying I gotta see these numbers. So that's all.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Marjorie
gosh.
Taylor Greene announces it's going to be a felony if you modify the weather. So
No response.
these
No
floods are too
response.
much, right? Uh,
Oh my gosh. She wants to see the numbers.
right. I'm going to see the numbers. In the meantime,
Oh
this is
my
the person
gosh.
saying wildfires came from Jewish space lasers. No exaggeration. I wonder if like did people say it'd be funny if it was a plan. Like we're gonna say such stupid shit that people are gonna be like, "There's no way they said this stupid shit," and then they don't have to believe the real problems that are going on.
It's just mind-boggling. That's like really, and I'm like, who votes for these people? Like,
I'm
am I
introducing.
just in a different planet?
Right. I'm introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering the weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. It will be a felony offense. I have been researching weather, dot, dot, dot. Oh my God. Okay. She's like, and not just Jews, anybody. Anybody who manipulates the weather. Conspiracy theorists have long claimed that government or other shadowy organizations have been manipulating the weather by releasing chemicals in the air, leaving white streaks in the sky that they call chemtrails. The EPA has explained that the cloud-like lines are condensation trails left behind from hot exhaust from aircrafts when they collide with cold air at high altitudes. Yes, but what's the religion of the pilot?
Here's my question though. If she's saying anything that alters the weather,
Right,
then, and this is why I could never be a lawyer, but this is
right,
where my brain goes. Couldn't you, if she magically got that bill passed, which like I don't even,
right.
can she write? Verdict still out. Um, but uh wouldn't then you could sue the oil companies
Right.
for drilling,
Well,
which
they would
causes
say
climate change. They'll say
it's not.
it isn't,
I didn't
but
do it
show me the
expressively. Show
numbers.
me the numbers.
Show me the numbers.
What
Get
have
Europe, get Europe to send them over, UPS Express or whatever their version is.
When the president announces, like, this is how sick people are in the world, like we're talking about, Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh God.
And it's like, not only are we going to deport these immigrants, we created a prison where they're surrounded by alligators. We were going to use lions, but that was already taken. Like, you're not coming off barbaric enough that you're now, it's like, we're going to have fucking snakes and alligators.
And they have hats. They have merch.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Of
they
course
have
they do. Of
merch.
course they do.
Yeah,
They find us being
it's
cruel as is. I have an idea. Alligators, because guards, having human guards, that costs taxpayer money. Alligators don't cost a thing. And I know what you're thinking. Don't you have to feed the alligators? No, we keep them very hungry. Get it?
yeah.
Like if you agree, share if you're not a snowflake.
Uh, I think what's fun is that that tells you that they could house people if they needed to. They could
Yeah.
build housing for
Yes.
people. They could like house the unhoused. They could, I don't know, maybe give us health insurance. That'd be nice. Like
Right.
they're like they could, you know what? Once again, it comes back to the original thing about men being bad. If he wanted to, he would.
Right. It was, I don't know if it was till from Trump's first became president, but I didn't really know of the word demagogue. What a great fucking word, and it's definitely the hometown that I came from in the country that the people fall for this bullshit. Like, yeah, give us less shit because why? Because one day I'll be a millionaire and that'll be good. Like you assholes, he's coming to these towns and fucking you, and you're saying, yeah, keep fucking us. You're the ones losing, and then you vote.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Well, anyway,
it's
the Epstein case is closed. Apparently, there's no client list. Okay. Okay. The Department of Justice and FBI have officially concluded that Jeffrey Epstein had no client list for blackmail purposes and committed suicide, as stated in the recent findings released July 7th.
I've always said men love to go to an island just by themselves, and that's it.
Oh, this poor Ghislaine Maxwell in prison for 20 years for sex trafficking kids. I don't get it. Maybe they sex trafficked kids, but they didn't give the kids to anyone per se. But this poor lady still being punished is very strange, right? They owe her an apology.
I just think that if there's a list, if
Of
I
course,
just
there's a
there's
list.
so many thoughts going through my
You have
brain.
to keep
I'm
track
like,
of things. There's a
I'm
list.
like, yeah, I just think that Epstein's guest list was quite large, and I think we all know who was on it. Like
Right.
that's the thing. And I know I'm always like innocent until proven guilty, but given that the system is mostly guilty until proven innocent,
Right.
I think we all know. And we all saw the pictures of the two of them together.
Right.
Like, I'm like, my dude, you were on that list. We all know you
Of
were on that list. We've
course.
heard you say things about the list. We've heard you used his plane to campaign.
When you're on these private planes, you literally have to give the pilot your weight so that he judges what's going on. They probably have your name also.
But he used his plane
Right.
for his campaigning. Like I'm
Right.
like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You were just like, "Oh, I'll take this plane that like didn't go anywhere. I've never been on it before." And you just took it and were like, "I'm going to use it to campaign to become president again." And like that'll be normal and fine, right? I've always
Right.
said if I had friends who were trafficking kids, I'd want to use their plane for my own purposes. Like, what?
And what upsets me too, being a comedian, is these comedians, these right wing comedians that
Oh God,
make
yeah.
up bullshit for the
Hmm.
president. And it's like, not to be dramatic, but you motherfuckers are supposed to be the truth tellers. At least you say you are. And then you play dumb about all this fucking shit that's going on. Andrew Schulz, a comedian podcaster, he came out and he's like, you know what? I don't like this Trump. This isn't who I voted for. Yeah, what did you vote for? Peace? What did you vote for that it's not coming true? Andrew Schultz turned on the president on Thursday, lashing out at promises that the president has failed to fulfill, saying, quote, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it, he said on his podcast called Flagrant, flagrant. You are a donkey. Schultz, who has amassed nearly 2 million subscribers on YouTube, hosted the president on this show last year in the lead up to the presidential election. During their interview, he burst into laughter after Trump called himself, quote, basically a truthful person. Yeah, then why are you doing it? Hey, whatever sells. These right-wing fucking hate mongers
Hmm.
who just realized you can, whether they got busted for something, then they turn right wing, or they're just fucking sellouts.
Yeah.
But something changed.
I
Uh,
think it's kind of great that men did something to make themselves so unfuckable for the rest of their lives.
right, right.
Like
Uh,
it makes me pretty I mean, none of this makes me happy, but that
sure.
kind of does a
Right.
little bit.
That's why they have to have these men circle jerks. I like to think because they're not
Yeah.
getting laid, I hope. Schultz told the New York Times in an interview published last month that his vote for Trump was, quote, against the democratic institution. Right. I don't need all this free
You
shit.
mean against democracy? Good job.
Right. He felt, quote, was stripping the democratic process from its constituents. Those aren't even words, if you ask me.
Uh,
He went on to say that going into the Trump interview, he specifically wanted to address three topics with the candidate: making sure access to in vitro fertilization was protected. Well, duh, you blew that. Having empathy for law abiding undocumented migrants. Oops. And ending foreign wars. Schultz said, there'll be people that'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. And I'm like, I voted for none of this. He also gets off on that, you know? Like,
yep.
even if nobody even said it, he's probably making it up. But let's say people did say it. You see what your boy's doing? It's like, yeah, this guy came on my show, acted like we're friends. I get to act like I'm friends with the president. Of course, everybody, we're on this guy's side because I'll seem like a cool dude to you, an alpha male to you.
Yeah. But I want to know who these people are that are still talking to him because I would have dumped him
Right.
as a friend. I did dump everyone, and by everyone I mean the one person that I knew who hid it that he was a voter, and I was like, okay, cool. Bye. And
How
then
the,
he was like, it
Did
did
he
not
did
go
he
well.
did he say it like a matter of fact? Like I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, no, no, yeah, 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 no, no. And I was like, well, strap in, my dude, because I'm about to
Right.
tell you. Yeah, no, he tried to play it off. He was a sneaky one. And yeah, he was a sneaky one who specifically registered to vote for this election for the first time ever, which I was like, okay,
Wow.
dumbass.
Okay.
And then I was like, voting, that's
Right.
already I'm like, you lost me.
Hmm.
But then he storied something like the fist in the air photo.
Hmm.
And that's how I
Oh, the
found
Trump
out.
when he got shot in
Yes.
the air. Right.
Yeah, when he faked getting shot.
Right.
And I know I'm in theater. I know a prop change when I see one. And he went down and then came up. Come on.
Right.
Whomst among us hasn't seen that in like Hamlet, Macbeth, right? So I then spent a few months trying to like fix him because I was like, okay, here's my project because like I didn't know anyone else. Everyone else I know is
Right.
like, human.
Also,
And so,
if you don't fix them, are you stupid?
right, like I was like, okay, this guy is dumb. So shout out.
Right.
Uh, and like I'm gonna like try to see. I was like, I want to also see like who these people are because
Right.
I just don't know them.
And maybe I'm
And
misunderstanding you,
no, no, no. I
him. You
wanted to
know.
know what his
Yeah.
reasoning was. No, no.
Right.
I like was like, I know the categories they fall into. I want to find out which one he is.
Right.
So then, what happened is that election happened. I knew I didn't succeed in my task, which I was like, at some very soon, I was like, oh, lost cause. That's it. Um, so I then saw him one last time and not independently, but because I was at like something else for like a mutual friend and he was there, which I was like ugh, about.
Right.
So I see him and he like makes sure to kind of like get to talk to me. Um, and I then was like, yeah, we're not friends anymore. And he was like, oh, like it's gonna be fine. And I was like, no, it's not.
Right.
No, like it's absolutely not. This was like probably like November, December, maybe it was like December. And he was like, "Oh, like you're making a big deal of this." I was like, "No, I'm not." And he was like, "Come on, like you're really gonna throw away our relationship for this?" And I was like, "Dude, clocked that you had a crush on me months ago, but like this was like the worst thing you could have done."
Right.
And so I went, no, we were friends." I went, "We don't have a relationship. We were friends, but then you voted away my rights and the rights of everyone I love."
Right.
And he was like, "Ugh," and I was like, "So I think I probably said something I shouldn't have to him, but I don't really give a shit." And I was like, "So I don't care what happens to you. Hope you get everything you voted for," and like walked out. And then ran into someone from the cast of Oh Mary on the subway and was like, that was the sign. I did everything right." And I chatted with him and he was like the loveliest actor ever. And I like borderline made him cry because I was like, "I think you're great. Like I just saw the show last week." And like the whole night went from like horrifying to like me being like so angry walking down like 8th Avenue to then to get to the subway to then being like, "Best night ever. I told a Trumpy to go fuck himself," and then ran into like a really lovely actor from a show that I think was written for me. And it was amazing. So
Only in New York.
literally the most New York story of all time. And we were getting on the A train. Like it was just like
Right.
classic on the platform.
At one point, Schultz expressed frustration with Trump's unfulfilled promise to release files related to convicted child sexual abuser Jeffrey Epstein, stating, quotes, "It's insulting our intelligence." Best case, Andrew Schultz is stupid as fuck. That is best case, right?
No, I don't think any of these people are just stupid. I think they're
Then they're
all,
cruel.
yeah, I think they're racist and cruel. Like
Right.
I don't 20 I have thought about this many times because I know that there's the whole like, if people say they made a mistake, we're going to have to like welcome them back in. And like, sure, as a whole society, we might, though
Right.
I have other ideas of, Titan submersible, it's always an option.
That's right.
But, um, but like, I get that. I fully understand that like there are going to be people. I don't think you can be a good person and have voted for this in 2024. 2016 people who wanted like a radical change, they didn't know what was going to happen. I still like think they're
Sure.
stupid and like again, read a book, read a newspaper, go touch some grass, go breathe the air outside. Like I don't care. Go to another country and try not to speak English there. Like do something to like
Right.
experience life, but I at least can like understand people who are like 2016, I was wrong, don't know what I was thinking, blah blah blah. I was wrong and then I voted correctly the rest of the time.
Right.
Fine. How do you do it in 2024? Like you're stupid, you're not reading. Like I knew I was never going to vote for him and yet I read a very large chunk of Project 2025. You don't put, and I know that's like I worked in politics, I'm in comedy, like these are the things we all
Right.
do. But if there's a giant platform that's being proposed, I'm going to read it. Like how, like read the Sparks Notes version. I don't
Right.
care. But like how are you not, you voted for this. And you voted for something and you can't tell me that it wasn't because you either hate women so much that you were like, "I can't have one as president." That's bad enough for me.
Right.
That's fine. Like that's enough of a reason to not like you. Or you're super racist or you're multiple things including racist, cruel, and a bad person.
I
Like
agree.
that's it. Like I think I think Tim Walz could have gotten a lot harder than they're weird. Like,
Yes.
and they fuck couches. Like I don't know. There's just so many
But
things.
apparently it's hard to figure out how to play it because Hillary Clinton goes, "These people are deplorable." "Oh, I'm deplorable. I'll show you deplorable." Like first, I think that's what a child does. But anyways, "Oh, I'm stupid." Well, Tim Walz, he used IDF. Well, I'm gonna walk around with the jars of sperm, somehow making fun of that at conventions. Okay. Oh, I'm called garbage by Tim Walz. I'm gonna dress up in a garbage bag now. Like, okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not here being like, I know how to solve this.
Right, right,
I just I don't think I think it's interesting though that they will all want in on our spaces. And I think that tells you everything about them. I think that how much of the internet is like we're hearing about how people who voted for him are like really upset that they've been disowned, they don't understand it, and like it's because like the left of center is fun. Like we're the fun sides. We're the ones with like the fun parties and the good
Right.
music and the actors and the movies and the arts and like all the things. They don't want to be in their own spaces because they're just like a bunch of people like banging their heads against the wall screaming. It's like watching like they're just like living Hereditary the whole time, but it's just that scene where Alex Wolf, not Wolf, which one? Oh gosh, is
Okay.
banging his head on the desk the whole
Right.
time. That's like I think what their like hangs are like. Like I think that's it. And so
Can you
they want to
imagine you got to pretend YMCA is a good song? Like right there, leave the fucking party of liars.
I think once Beyonce gave, and Kendrick gave freedom to Kamala, it was like, how? How are you choosing
Right.
YMCA over freedom and also like all of Springsteen's discography? Like, come on,
Right.
guys, get it together.
Schultz says, like, obviously the intelligence community is trying to cover up the Epstein shit. Obviously, the Trump administration is trying to cover up. Oh, you don't say, Schultz. Something changed because they ran on this idea of exposing it all. This is U.S. Attorney Pam Bondi that I'm going to play. And this is after a reporter said, "What's is the deal with these? Now there's no client list, even though you showed a binder saying, here's the fucking client list of Epstein." And what's going on with this video that was put out where I thought there was no video at all, but now there is video, but it's 11 hours of video with an hour missing. Why is this hour missing? This is what Pam said to explain why an hour is missing of Epstein when must have been the time when he killed himself.
And the minute missing from the video,
Minute, 1 minute missing. Excuse me, I said hour. 1 minute missing.
and the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but
What?
the evidence prior to it was showing he committed. And what was on that, there was a minute
Suicide. They cut out the word suicide.
that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old from like 1999. So every night the video is reset and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
That's it with this kid fucker. Uh, so we're looking into if other tapes are missing minutes also, which they are. Okay, well, do it. We're going to do that. But anyway, that's enough about this, I think. So now, people, even the right wing idiots, are saying, hey, you're calling us stupid. We have a problem. So perhaps Pam's going to get fired. Perhaps the director of the FBI is gonna quit. Like, okay, but how about you follow up even after that? But like this is, well, at least they got fired, and then people are going to somehow be okay. The FBI Deputy Director, Paul Abate, is said to be considering stepping down from his role amid reports that the Jeffrey Epstein prison video released has been manipulated. Dan Bongino was reported to have taken the day off work on Friday. Oh, sorry, this is another deputy. How many deputy directors are there? Was reported to taking the day off on Friday after clashing with the White House with Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, over the administration's handling of the so-called Epstein files, and is said to have told people he was considering resigning over the issue. Sources say that Bongino was increasingly displeased with Bondi's handling of the Epstein case because she had publicly overpromised and under-delivered disclosures, blah, blah, blah. Bongino had pushed Epstein conspiracy theories, including that the convicted sex offender may have been murdered by powerful people trying to silence him as a MAGA-friendly podcast host before President Trump appointed him to help lead the FBI. Well, when you work for somebody, everything changes. The video's metadata was analyzed by video forensics experts for Wired magazine, which claimed in a report that it had been exported from the prison surveillance system, edited using a professional editing tool, spliced with other footage, and then saved multiple times before being uploaded to the DOJ website. Oh, you're kidding me, Andrew Schulz. Do you think maybe he's tricking you? Maybe. Remember that scene? I saw this on Instagram. They showed a meme. They showed a picture of from Independence Day and the aliens blowing up the White House, and it says, "Remember when this used to be considered a bad thing?" Well, hey, but you know what? then they do the things to try to confuse us and think this is a great country. You will no longer have to take your shoes off in airports. Huh? Sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty
I'm like,
sweet.
yeah, really, I'm distracted. Yeah, that's really what's. I'm sorry. I don't care about taking my shoes off. Can I get some health insurance, please?
Right.
Like,
No, but you could bring frozen water on a plane now and let it thaw out later.
where's it gonna thaw out? Have you been on a plane? It's freezing on those
Right.
things. Dead of summer, and I'm wearing like winter jackets on a plane.
Okay, okay. You guys are being confused and upset about the things going on in this country. I'll tell you what we're going to do at the White House. Have a UFC match. By the way, no exaggeration. Trump said for to celebrate America's 250th anniversary next year, he will host a UFC fight at the White House. This is real.
Are they gonna fight him?
Yeah, you would hope. This is there's you know what? I remember the Diddy trial, and apparently one of the few times that the jury expressed like displeasure was when we learned that the Diddy likes applesauce on weird shit like hamburgers and stuff, and the jury went, "Oh, this guy is fucking too much."
Jesus Christ.
So this reminds me of uh, Trump's team showed a picture of one of the Trump chefs cooking burgers on July 3rd, saying we're cooking burgers, getting ready for July 4th guests.
They
Now,
pre-cooked
they
the
pre-cooked the
burgers.
burgers the day before.
Uh,
That's what people should be complaining about.
what? I'm like, oh. I
It's
mean,
horrific.
I would be like, I hope no one got sick from them, but like, do I care?
Right,
No, I
right,
really
right.
don't.
It's a
I
blessing.
mean, the head of Department of Health or whatever has like a worm in his brain. So like
Right.
he's probably just eaten. The worm was probably, I swear to God, in my head, his head looks like that alien from Men in Black, where they
Yes.
like push the ears open and he's like, the galaxy lies on Orion's belt. I think that's what's going on in Kennedy's head. Like that's my
Right.
assumption. And no one, uh, until proven otherwise, that's what it
Yes.
is. Show me the evidence and I'll
Listen
change.
to me. I'll tell you how we
Like,
healthy.
yeah.
Like what? You?
And he's so weird that I'm like,
Yeah.
it kind of checks out. Like, I could see that there's like a little worm man like controlling it, like ratatouilleing his
Yes.
brain. It seems correct.
The new Superman movie is out right now. And
Yes.
so Trump superimposed
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
his
Ugh.
face on the Superman poster, instead of saying like whatever the tagline of Superman is, look up. Now it says a Trump presidency. Trump's face superimposed on Superman's body. Truth, justice, and the American way. It now says Superman, and it's him.
I don't think
Okay,
there have ever been two people on complete ends of the attraction spectrum
in every
than
way.
Trump in every possible way than Trump and both Henry Cavill or now David Cornsweet.
Right.
Like, and obviously Nicholas Hoult, who I love. Truly, I'm like, never,
Right.
never. That's just vomit in the mouth. Like,
Right. Former Superman Dean Cain, right wing, of course,
mm,
believes this Superman has been let's see, believes the hero Superman has always been quote tremendously immigrant friendly, but worries that James Gunn intends to push the character in too woke of a direction. How
oh
about you wait a
God.
day and see it? Now I got to go on Fox News now and worry about woke culture. What you can wait a weekend and then give your fucking opinion as because you played Superman on TV, and and he's a big MAGA guy now,
Right.
Dean Cain. So what they're showing now online that's resurfacing is clips from the Adventures of Lois and Clark or whatever he was in. And it's like, and he's Superman, like watching some president go, "We're going to make America great again." This fictional president,
Jesus
literally.
Christ.
And Dean Cain, his character, Clark Kent, goes, "Oh, again, like in the slavery days?" And I'm like, Dean Cain, do you know what you did? You know that you were Superman and you were woke and you did recognize you were an immigrant because in that show, somebody, somebody in government says you can't fly anymore because you don't have your green card. This happened in an episode. Dude, why do you gotta talk? You know who else is complaining? Johnny Lawrence, the guy that plays the bad guy becomes the good guy in Cobra Kai, the bad guy from Karate Kid.
Oh, fun fact, safe space to admit, I've never
Yes,
seen it.
you
I've
did the
never
right
seen
thing. I
I've
love
never seen
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid either, somehow. That one I don't know how I
You would
haven't
have been too
seen.
young. You would have been too young,
I
I think.
think so. I think I like weirdly missed the age group, but yeah, anyway, sorry.
No, everyone
Yeah.
is talking about Superman, he writes, and I'm just completely tired of comic book movies. Hollywood in general sucks at storytelling. Because I saw Karate Kid, I did have to see Cobra Kai. That's a fucking superhero movie. None of these guys even they're not even embarrassed they don't know karate, the adults. They never took a fucking class. It's cut 5 times them trying to throw one fucking kick. That's a fake superhero TV show. And who that what are you doing acting like you're in Breaking Bad? Hollywood doesn't know how to tell stories anymore. That show sucks. You're not a good actor. Good for you enough, it seemed. I didn't know you were a weird fucking douchebag. Then he retweets a tweet from something called Awesome 80s. The Cosby Show debuted in 1984 and was an instant hit and would stay on the air till 1992. We all know what happened to Bill Cosby's image, yikes. But there's no denying that this sitcom was a staple of the 80s. That is so important to retweet. Johnny Lawrence.
I just have a lot of questions, but that's fine.
I have so you're obviously you know all these actors' names. You're obviously a big Superman fan. Is that fair to say?
No, actually, I'm not
Yeah.
even. That's what's funny. I just like love well, first off, I love the press tour that's happening.
How
Um,
so? Are they being funny
well,
or
yeah, they're like doing challengers basically, which great. I think that they're being adorable. I love male friendship because like we never
okay?
get to see it. And I love hot people being hot with each other. And
Sure.
like apparently the movie's good. Apparently it's interesting, which I think if you can make like I'm not like a giant superhero person, but I think when they're done well, they're done really well and they're
Hmm.
fun. And I understand like the point of them is to like remind, especially right now, I'm like, I don't mind a movie that's like doing the right thing is even if it's hard is like a good
Right.
thing. Maybe some people need to be reminded of that.
No, that'd be
No, I was
woke. That's called
yeah,
woke
God forbid.
nowadays. Yeah.
It's also my favorite thing is that saying woke is just like, what if we care about other people's
Right.
feelings? Like that's
Right.
it. That's all
What
it is. Like
what
when
if
people
we're
are like,
literally awake and paying attention?
yeah,
Whoa,
like
easy,
truly,
dork.
like, what if we said things that weren't punching down?
Right.
I love when comedians are like mad about woke because I'm like, no, that just tells me you're not funny. Like
Right.
that's it.
What
And
can
I'm
I
sure
say?
someone,
That's the
and I'm sure,
challenge.
right.
Yeah.
And someone's gonna come at me if they hear this and they're gonna be like, oh, well, she's not funny. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
Great, great
Right.
comeback. Wow, innovative. Like it's wild to me that comedians especially would like care about that. Like about how it's bad to like not punch down on
Right.
people. God forbid.
This might be the most controversial thing, and I'm not talking about Superman being on the side of good or anything like this, but just between us, he is kind of stupid, right?
So that's why I'm curious about the new one because I always thought of Superman as like kind of like the basic bitch of the
Yeah.
superheroes. I'm a Batman girl, if I'm being honest. We
Hmm.
love like, even though he was like a rich boy, we kind of love that he was like a rebel and was like fighting the system and like all of
Right.
that. I don't know. I think it like led to a lot of our politics now, like meaning our being like the good politics. Like I
Right.
think growing up with like Dark Knight and like Dark Knight Rises and like the Christopher Nolan franchise was really interesting. Um, because it like talks more about like the gray line of like right and wrong in
Right.
terms of like application. Um, yeah, I always thought Superman was like kind of meh, but I
He's kind
do
of
love the
stupid.
adventures of Cavalier and Clay, and they're like doing Superman in that.
Okay.
So, you know.
Yeah, I did see the movie, and I won't give
He
anything
wears
away.
glasses though. Like I think they're like, so he's smart.
Right.
Like
But
I
he
really
doesn't
think
need them.
that's what I also was like, is he so smart if he's wearing glasses that he doesn't need? Like what does he know he doesn't need them? I'm confused. Are
they
they fake glasses?
they have said in the past, and they mention it real quick for 2 seconds in this movie, that the glasses are some kind of magic glasses that confuse you, the viewer. So when you see him, you see something different in his face somehow. That's the stupid explanation.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I get what you're saying. So it's like rose-colored glasses, but like the opposite way.
Yes, yes.
That's a magic system that doesn't
They just throw it
doesn't
in there, right?
seem to make sense, like with the kryptonite stuff. There's too many things then.
Right.
I have too many more questions then. Batman is easy. I also liked, okay, the other reason I love Batman is because he doesn't have any superpowers, and I think that's really interesting.
Right.
His superpower is his money, and
Hmm.
that's real. Like, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we
I'm
all
with
know
you.
that if you have a shit ton of money, it helps.
Superman often forgets his laser eye powers and his breath powers that could
Yes.
solve almost everything all the time between the two of those things. In fact, in this movie, somebody has laser eyes and they laser his fucking eyes. And it's like, well, that doesn't remind you, Superman, that you have laser eyes too, and you should be using that on them.
We love a big, strong dummy. Like,
Yeah, right.
that's, I think, the maybe that's why people love Superman because they're like, I don't know, kind of relatable. I see a guy like this all around. There's one in my office. Like, I feel like they're just like wandering around being like, everyone is probably Superman. I guarantee, like, Ben in finance, like, probably has laser eyes and doesn't even know it. So maybe that's why everyone loves him.
You ever see
I
the
don't know.
video? There's a video of a kid in a restaurant and like a glass goes to fall and he's barely looking at it. He just reaches out instinctively and catches it. And then
That's a
and then he goes and
Superman.
then he tries to give the Spider-Man symbol, like just in case, just shoot a
See,
web.
I did love Spider-Man. Spider-Man, like, I thought was cool
Yeah,
because, like,
that's just
that one,
science.
yeah, we
Yeah.
love that. That's science. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just, come on, we've all been bitten. How many times have I been bitten by a spider? I'm like,
What if?
may this
Fingers
be the
crossed. Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Also, like, I love Willem Dafoe. Can do no wrong.
Sure.
And that was the Tobey Maguire 2001, 2000, 2002. I don't
Right.
remember. That one was so good. I love Andrew Garfield. No shade whatsoever to
Hmm.
him. But that was my Spider-Man. And
Well,
I loved it.
speaking of bad guys, so Lex Luthor's is the
Hmm.
bad guy in this new one, and this is how dumb Superman is. Lex Luthor in this is more genius than he's ever been. Meaning he has monsters he can control. He has
Right.
robots he can
That's Nicholas
control.
Holt's character,
He
right?
can. I assume. I don't know
I love
names
him.
like you
I've loved
do.
him since About a Boy. He's
Okay.
perfect.
So he's a fucking goddamn genius. He's a contingency for anything Superman can try to thwart him with. Um, then sometimes Superman thinks like he saved the day, and he just stands there talking to Lex Luthor like about the American way and right and wrong. It's like, motherfucker, why do you think he has another monster ready? He's a genius, and he thought of everything. You don't think like he's gonna have kryptonite gas in the fucking vents? What? Arrest him. Why don't you think there's more to go? Because you're so fucking stupid.
This is like in every fantasy book, not to bring it back, but
Yes.
in all the fantasy books, the like villains love to have like a monologue where they tell you their entire plan.
Yes.
And then they're like, and I will kill you afterwards. And I'm always like, why would you wait until after? Like, and then of course, the good person gets out of it, obviously. And I'm always
Right.
like, these villains are not villaining. Like, do they know that like they should like kill
Right.
and then be like, and then if only I hadn't killed you, now I can tell you what I was
Right.
gonna do. But instead, they're like, here's my grand plan, and I'm telling, and then they escape and they're like, we have to stop the part of the plan that didn't go into motion yet that they told us about. And like, I'm just always like, they this could have been a lot shorter of a book.
Right. I asked on social media, hey, is it me or is Superman a fucking idiot? Charlotte writes, Charlotte, I'm from Charlotte.
Hmm.
My mom liked Superman because he's a smart, nice farm boy that doesn't fit in, end quote. I like Batman, and she said that figures
Yeah,
Batman was for the rich city kids. Superman was for the
Jesus.
for the poor farm kids. So from purely a marketing standpoint, on the other hand, is Superman the idiot or is everyone else? I mean, the glasses aren't really a disguise, but everyone goes with it. Like does Clark Kent put the glasses on like a dog and is like, "Hey, Lois Lane, where'd our dog go? I don't know." I said, "Well, I didn't know that somehow I'd be shitting on your mother. I'm just saying I saw the latest documentary and he still seems like a real maroon." Charlotte writes, I think your own opinion between whether you like Superman or not is one of those opinions people are allowed to have, not like human rights. And I said, I hear you 100%, but also I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just stating a fact for working at the biggest newspaper in Metropolis. He's a fucking stupid shit. Those articles got to be dumb that he's writing, by the way. Right?
They're probably like, I saw a big building today. It was tall, period,
Right.
and had many windows. And then his editor's like, don't start the sentence with an and.
he's, he's doing like he's really filling out, words. Like I'm like, is SNL live this weekend? SNL is an institution that's been around since 19. Okay, all
Oh
right,
no, he's like AI. He's
yeah.
basically writing like AI. Take a filter off and he's gonna become full Nazi.
Here's a hey, tell me this recipe for corned beef hash. My mother used to make corned beef hash, and okay, all right, good for you.
Corned bean hash is a delicacy found
If you break
nowhere.
it down to corned and beef, it's a type of hash. Laura Loomer, speaking of
Oh
anti-woke,
gosh.
what is it, president's top advisor? Can we normalize putting white people back in TV commercials? This is a grown person in our life. If you don't have white people in your commercial, I am not buying your product. Laura Loomer, I'm tired
What?
of DEI commercials. DEI just means minorities now, apparently.
Ugh, I just, I was sitting here being like, I feel kind of bad that I like went off about like people who voted for this. Like, is it bad? Am I going to seem
Right.
like a mean, very, very opinionated person, which I can be mean sometimes, and I'm very opinionated for sure. But now that I hear stuff like that, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 you didn't go hard enough.
And
Like,
then
you're okay.
you would think everybody would be like, you fucking racist asshole. What you
And
said is
that's the
so egregious.
frustrating part.
And then
But
it's
they
people
don't.
under her. Here's somebody named Nandy. They wrote, and they're not joking. Can we normalize not having a gay scene in every movie and TV show?
No,
Okay.
put more gay scenes in. Every
Okay.
put
I
them
want to,
in, put them in, put them into the
sure.
commercials. Put them all everywhere.
No joke. When
That's
there's the
insane.
like comedies that do it, and it's like the who are these like finding Sarah Marshall, that
Oh,
group
yes,
of
yes, yes, yes,
comedians.
yes.
They show penis all the time. I love it. I'm like, good. Another penis. Good.
I remember seeing that movie for the first time, and that full frontal came out of
Yes.
nowhere. And I remember going,
Yeah.
like, I also just I always liked that movie. Unfortunately, like now it's a little less watchable, but I appreciate that the good people out of those movies are like, no, it's okay that we made some things that like now we wouldn't make,
Right.
and that's
Sure.
fine. Like that's comedy, not a problem.
Right.
And we
Uh,
love that. We love people who like understand, I don't know, like time.
right. Right. Laura Loomer then wrote, the only time they ever show a white person in commercial, by the way, when it's more than one post, that's so fucking racist. The only time they ever show a white person in commercials anymore is if they are two gay dudes with an adopted son or two butch lesbos. We need to bring straight white people back to commercials. And then somebody wrote, hey, Grok, AI, remind me what race is most represented in commercial advertisements. And then Grok wrote, based on a 2022 study, the majority far and away is white. Black 14%, Hispanic 8%. Hispanic 5%, Asian 8%, black 14%. Don't worry, whites are far and away winning these commercials still.
I am
You don't
literally
say.
trying to think of commercials, and this is not me being like, I'm colorblind, blah, blah.
Right.
I have literally never thought to myself anything about who I'm
Right.
seeing in a commercial. And I think to me, that's the wildest thing I could hear. I mostly am, I think the only reaction I've ever had to commercials is, huh, or like, what is happening in this commercial? And
Right.
that's basically it. Or sometimes I've been like, what? My favorite is when there's like a plot line in a commercial, and I'm like, where's this gonna end up? What is, and then like it'll be like this whole journey of like a vacation to Disney World, and then the plane, and you're like, oh, is this like a Disney commercial? And then it will be like, thank God I had Crest whitening toothpaste, and you're like,
Right.
that doesn't even match up. Favorite type of commercial. That's the most extent I've ever thought. Or like a jingle. I love a good
Sure.
jingle.
Sure.
My sister and I love this one jingle that was like, nothing is everything. Um, And that's all I remember. I couldn't even, it's for like some medication. Don't even remember. I
Right.
also love when they tell you, my favorite thing in commercials when they tell you all the things you could die from
Right.
taking this medication. And they're like, I understand like legally they're putting that there, but I'm like, so why would I buy this? And they're
Right.
like, it might make your like diarrhea better, but it also give you throat cancer. And you're like,
And
wait, what?
we have something
Um,
else for that.
and yeah, and then if you need that, you can have this. But guess what? It'll make your arms fall off. Like
Right.
maybe like two in a study of 2,000 people, 1.3% had their arm fall off. And you're like, wait, what was that 0.3%?
It's going to be like Amazon. Like you might also like this. Buy all three of these
Yes.
together, and
Group them together and you'll have the best shits of your life. That's the extent of my like my
yeah,
thought process. That's who has this kind of energy to
yes.
be this racist? I swear they're like inventing new levels of racism in this administration like every day. And
I think
I
you're right.
we knew that this like I'm not like, oh, like under Obama no racism
Right.
existed anymore. Like obviously it still did. But I just am like,
Well,
what is this
I
timeline we're
compare it
on?
to bosses I had.
Mm.
I worked in
I thought you were gonna say Boston. I truly
it
heard
reminds me of Boston.
Boston, and I was like, yeah,
But
yeah.
most of my jobs were in the restaurant business, and
Mm.
if the boss was an asshole, meaning like the boss's rule was if you break a glass, somebody else will rat you out, and you have to pay, a retail for the price of the glass. If the boss was an asshole, the employees, my fellow waiters, just getting by, became assholes also and would
Mm.
rat people out for no, I heard them at the table and it was the waiter's fault that he put in the wrong thing. But if the boss is cool, everything's running smoothly and everybody's cool. And when you have the president that says, hey, here's racist ideas, you have half the country going, okay, then I guess that's what we do now. But then in between Trump was Biden, and guess what? I wasn't seeing Nazis walking around. It's interesting. It's like, well, if we can't do Nazis, then I guess we can't. Oh, we could do Nazis now? Okay. So I don't know how much they believe, how much they just grab onto whatever the boss is saying.
No, it was like the quiet. It was whether it
Yeah,
was okay to be. And I don't think anyone I can't say anyone. That's too much. I'm working on not generalizing in
right.
this moment. It'll come back. But I think that it's interesting that people will be like, oh, there wasn't any of this racism and blah, blah. I think there absolutely was. I think when it was unacceptable, it was quiet. I mean, like
Yes.
some of these ideas have been around for quite some time. I don't
Right.
think that suddenly, like, the ballots were cast and suddenly Trump got inaugurated and suddenly people were like, Nazism, let's embrace it. I think like these ideas were there. Obviously, some of them are centuries old, if not longer. And so I definitely think it's that he was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything." Like people are just straight up doing hate speech at this point
Yes. Yes.
publicly.
Well,
Like
of course, here's
administration, exactly. Like
yes.
administration is tweeting out. The White House is tweeting out. ICE is tweeting out. Like
Right.
they're tweeting out these
If
things.
it wasn't already called the White House, he would make it be called the White House.
I know, I'm like, oof, that it would be so like what a funny thing if they like poured like some country like poured black paint on it or something. Like I would love to like what like not saying anyone should do that. I'm just
Sure.
what would the response like imagine like a prank on that. Like what that would look like
Well,
because
I
like yeah,
also
it
see
would
online
be
like, hey, this is the White House under Trump, and then as a trying to shit on it, this is the White House under Biden, and it showed the time they put the
the
rainbow
flag.
colors
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
like,
This is
that's
like the
so
pride,
egregious.
yeah, it's the pride thing with baseball, like the baseball pride night thing, where it's
Mhm.
like, God forbid anyone like have one night where
Right.
like people will be like, and by the way, we don't hate gay people, like God forbid.
Right. I'm
And then the
starting to
next
think.
day they go back to whatever they were doing before, and
I'm,
it's a beautiful sport where they smack each other's asses. So I'm like,
that's right.
and I love baseball, diehard baseball
Right.
fan, but I sit there being like,
No
this is,
pride in their stabbing
I'm
asses.
like, this is the musical theater of sports,
You're
like.
absolutely right. I'm starting to think that the people that say all lives matter don't really mean it. That's
Oh
what I'm
my
starting to
God.
think.
Explaining why you don't have to say all lives matter to
Right.
people was I think that was the moment I was like, oh, this is a lost
Right.
cause. Like no, there's no like understanding like nuance anymore. You're seeing it with like the defund situation,
Right.
and people are like, "What do you mean we won't have cops?" And everyone's like, "That's not what it
That'd be
means."
impossible. Right.
Like, Jesus Christ, read something. I think it's like the headline effect as well. Like, because I've noticed this with people. People love to read the headline
Right.
and then they don't read anything else. And I'm like, no, famously, you have to, at the very least, read the first paragraph and then the last paragraph. If you don't want to read the whole article,
Right.
like fine, I don't agree with that. But like I've had friends be like, "Did you see what they did? Like they like
Right.
repealed this." Like someone once was like, a friend was once like, "Ireland repealed this act regarding like abortion." And I was like, "Yeah, it's amazing. They just allowed for abortion." And they
Right.
were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, what they had was that it was illegal. By repealing it, it became
Right.
legal." And my friend was like, "Oh, I didn't read the article." And I was like,
Right.
"Yeah,
When
like
somebody
that's
goes,
the
"Did you see?" You want to be like, "Did you see?"
yeah."
Because I don't think you
And like
saw.
this was like a very smart friend, and I get like we all have busy lives. It wasn't like,
Right.
but like I think if like smart people are doing that, then like what's everyone else doing?
Right. Underneath Lori Loomer, comes the more hate. This person goes
Great.
by at Heroes Ahead,
Oh, I already don't need to hear this comment, but go ahead.
and he has a flag emoji in
Yeah,
his
no, I knew that.
bio.
You didn't even
I
have to
stop.
say that.
I stop any movie with an interracial couple.
Oh, good.
I just saw a trailer for a movie called The Running Man, a reboot of the classic Arnie film that I've been excited for. Dude has an interracial wife, so now I won't see it. I'm tired of being told white people can't date each other by perverts in Hollywood.
What the actual fuck? Like,
Right. And what the actual fuck is he's a family man with kids. That's the actual fuck.
and he's
Did,
raising those kids.
right.
That's the problem.
You know Nathan Fielder,
Yeah, of
the
course.
comedian Nathan for You and the rehearsal.
Hmm. You
There's
mean
a pic
famous air pilot
the famous
Nathan
air
Fielder?
pilot. He who somehow is pretending he doesn't know he's autistic, but there's a whole show on it. So there's a picture of his face, just staring the way it does. And this person wrote, "The plan: make the country so bad that immigrants don't even want to come." There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
guy,
so real.
this guy Benny Johnson, right wing guy, and I just thought this was interesting. So on July 4th, he shows he's at a pool. Big flag happens to be behind him. "Becoming a father is the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. Getting to raise my American children in this country is a profound blessing. I'm the happiest dad on earth." American flag emoji, and you're like, okay, fine. Then the post he posted before that, what an upgrade! And it's a picture of Mrs. Biden and then a picture of Mrs. Trump saying that the FLOTUS now is so much hotter.
Right.
That's what you're saying. You just said about so beautiful being with the family, but now I can finally whack off to the first lady.
Oh, sorry.
the,
Just these I
right? There's nothing else he's
why
saying.
why do these people speak? Like they could just not. God, it's like this is like every time I think to myself like not to bring up her, but like when I'm like, why is J.K. Rowling speaking? Like,
Right.
why would she do this? In that she could have just kept these indoor thoughts
Right.
inside. Like, why is she, as Rebecca Yarros put in Onyx Storm? It's a great book. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, that's where it came from. And I don't want anyone to think I came up with that on my own.
Right.
How, like, why? They don't have to say these things. No one, they could
Right.
think all these horrible things and no one would know. And I think it's so batshit.
Also try to remember that you had an editor for all those years. You need one again.
Like, you need an editor to then be like, I'm not publishing. That's
Right.
what, like,
Right.
she could have been terrible. And like, I think there's a lot of hints in her books that she was a
Oh
bad
yeah.
person. Like, there's a lot of hints, but she could have just had all these thoughts and no one would have known. And instead, she was like, what if I burned down my legacy by putting it forever on the internet a million times in so many different ways? These people, it's the same thing. I'm like, you could just not.
Right. Also, I guess the goblin bankers were a clue, right?
Well, and also like how she named all of the like students. Yeah, the Goblin Bankers, Cho Chang, um, the one Irish student constantly blowing himself up. There were like a bunch of like other examples as
Right?
well that like honestly, thank God my brain has like mostly dumped
That's
out.
funny.
But there's like a lot of issues in the books, but we were all like, we're just gonna skate over because it's like, magic and fun and whatever, and we'll
Right.
forget like all the like racism and anti-Semitism and whatnot that's in it, but like that's fine. We'll just skate over it. And then she was like, oh, and by the way, I'm gonna attack trans people, and everyone was like, what the fuck? Like you just
Right.
could have just not. Like we gave you quite a few hall passes. Like
Yeah.
like quite a few and now like no. Obviously.
The same guy, Benny Johnson of The Benny Show, he has 3.7 million followers, shows a picture of the American flag on the 4th. Toby Keith and YMCA are playing a Trump
Ugh.
national, and the vibes are America. Flag emoji. You fucking dink. You really love Toby Keith and YMCA. Again, that's something you really fucking like. The Republicans danced to YMCA after that big beautiful bill signing, cutting health insurance for 17 million Americans. The bill literally cuts funding to the YMCA.
I yeah, I also am just sort of like they do know it's like a gay anthem, right? Like
Right.
I'm just like and like no shade in that regard. Like
Right.
love that. Love it, love a gay anthem, obviously. But I'm like they do know, like I'm just this is that like was the start to me of me being like, oh, no one here has anyone any sense of literacy because like that's a
Right.
famously gay song and they're like cutting like, they just took out like yesterday like bisexual from like the websites and
Mm,
now and like they made like trans be taken out of like the Stonewall like historical website
right.
like because it's a gov website and I'm like girl,
Well,
your song's YMCA. Like,
yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, at least Chuck Schumer got it to be changed and not be called the Big Beautiful Bill after all. So that's the
He
literal
did so
least he can
much.
do. He did
Yeah,
so much.
he did
So
so much.
which I don't even like that he did that. It's not no longer called the Big Beautiful Bill. He somehow had it changed to be called the Act. No, let it be called such a dumb fucking name so it's easy to look back on.
Yeah, I actually was like, I don't know if this actually helps. Like, I understood his point behind it, but I'm also like, hey, what if you had just, hang with me, spent time fighting against this bill instead of being upset about Mamdani winning the Democratic primary in New
Right,
York?
right.
Like, what if we actually stopped infighting for a second and actually fought the actual problems going on? I don't know. It's just a thought process, but like,
And how racist has that become? That I still
Oh
follow New York
gosh.
City news, and you
Yeah.
see memes of now the Statue of Liberty wearing a burqa. It's like you guys didn't even look up one of his fucking policies. You're just flat out
Honestly,
racist.
you know what? Yeah, it's so racist, but I do love that Trump is really angry about how hot he is, meaning Mamdani, like
Right.
specifically was like, and he doesn't even look good. And I'm like,
He doesn't look
no, like
good.
he's really hot. Like
Right.
like we just want the hot mayor with nice ideas who like wants to help us. Like,
Well, I'm
God forbid.
Superman.
But
And then I saw
like,
like
yeah,
on
and then I'm Superman. I'm like, guess what? Zoran is on one side of that list between David Cornsweet and Trump,
right.
and it's not towards Trump. Let me tell you that one.
Let me tell you what this Muslim wants. He wants to give free bassinets to newborn mothers. Really?
He wants to like give a rent freeze and like make buses free. Oh my God.
No, I don't want my bus free.
Yeah, I want to pay more for my buses. Like,
Uh,
yeah, but he's
right.
so angry about how hot he is, and I am like, you know what? That's so funny to me.
I'll leave
How
you
what a
with the
petty little bitch.
right.
Like,
Oh, what an asshole. I'll leave you with a fun story about America so
mm,
that, we don't leave you with
great.
the doom and gloom. The
Yeah.
2025 Nathan's hot dog eating contest, of course, was on the 4th.
Yeah.
Each competitor has 10 minutes to eat as many hot dogs as possible. Competitors receive one plate of 5 hot dogs and buns at a time. Many people are starving. Ketchup and mustard are not permitted. Any non-alcoholic beverages are allowed, but only water is given. If competitors bring their own beverage, they are limited to 13 cups. That's a lot.
Mm.
Competitors can separate the hot dogs from the buns, but must eat an equal amount. If an uneven amount is eaten, the lower numbers the competitors score. Have you ever, you've seen this, right? Have you
I've
ever
not
sat
seen it
down and watched the,
live, but I've
okay,
seen it like, the recordings and
right.
stuff.
So gross.
The dunking, as someone
Oh,
who loves Nathan's hot dogs, which is so funny because I was like a pescatarian for years and years,
okay.
but my one exception were Nathan's hot dogs at baseball games, which drove my sister insane. She was like,
Sure.
"You're not a vegetarian. You eat hot dogs." And I was like, "They don't upset my stomach, so I maintain they're not real meat." Like we don't know.
That's true. We
Tell
don't
me.
know if it is meat.
Like
What is it? I
we
think,
don't know because if I ate a steak, my stomach would, I think, explode at this point.
right.
But a hot dog, it can somehow take. So, like,
All
who's
right.
to say? Not shaming Nathan's. I love them. If I ever get married, I want them to, like,
Cater.
yeah, I want my dad and I to go to the Coney Island one that morning,
Right.
get them, and
That's
then
funny.
bring them to the wedding. I don't know what this wedding will be because, as we discussed,
Right.
I'm dating, but don't date. So, like,
You're not going to cook the hot dogs the day before, right?
no, I'm gonna cook them the week before and then have the little worm brain man make like spit on them a bunch just so that they're covered in worm spit. But yeah, the dunking is wild to me when they like dunk it
Yeah.
in. It reminds me of that scene from Stand By Me where like the pie eating contest and then they all
Yes.
vomit everywhere.
Yeah.
I constantly am like to my dad, like, Dad, how many hot dogs do you think you could eat? Like, could you? And he's like, enjoyably or like physically? And I'm like, either one. And we have this whole car, and I'm like, I don't know how many. I think like maybe five, like max.
Right.
Then they're doing, what were the numbers this year?
I'll let you know. Competitors are allowed to dunk the hot dog and bun in a cup for as many as 5 seconds. No utensils are allowed. This is America. Keep it classy.
Hmm.
Or don't act classy. Eaters are allowed to break up the hot dogs, but must do so with their hands. So you may not use a fork and knife.
Oh, well,
Any
that's
eater,
fair.
wouldn't that slow you down? Any
Whoa.
eater who vomits during the competition is disqualified. I think they should weigh the vomit and then just take it off the score.
Yeah.
The competitor with the most hot dogs and buns eaten within 10 minutes wins. The prize pool is roughly $40,000 split between the men's and women's events. So it's not even that much. The winner of each portion of the event receives 10,000. Second place gets 5,000. Third place gets 2,500. And Joey Chestnut won again. He's back.
Yes. He's back.
70 and a half hot dogs.
Oh,
Yeah, his record was 76. On Netflix last year, he did 83, but they don't count that.
right. Because it was
No,
different or whatever.
right. They're acting like it's different hot dogs. 70 and a half hot dogs. Number two, Patrick Bartoletti, 46 and a half hot dogs. Not
That's
even
a
close.
that's a real gap. Wow.
And then it gets close. So Patrick, 46 and a half. James Webb, the space guy, 45 and a half. Jeff Esper, 43, then 41, then 40, 36, 31. But again, Joey Chestnut, 70 and a half. So not even close.
That's
Chestnut signed a 3-year
wild.
contract with Nathan's in June, clearing the path for his return to the contest after a 1-year ban that never was explained to me.
Yeah.
Right?
It was something where like he got advertising or something, right? He got money from an outside source and
from a
they're like,
vegan source of all things. But he said he never signed anything. And they're like, all right, you're forgiven. It never really made sense.
I don't get it.
Quote, I love doing it. I love pushing myself and beating the heck out of people. There you go.
What? Oh, beating the okay,
Beating the
sorry.
heck out of
I
people.
heard beating and I was like, given the conversation we've had today,
Right,
I'm like,
right.
what kind of beating are we talking? Now I
Not
understand.
Joey.
I was like, now I understand. Winning. He means beating them in the race of the hot dogs being eaten.
My friend Adam tried to AI a picture of Joey Chestnut wearing a crown, chugging hot dogs, and bleeding for no reason. He said to AI, imagine Joey Chestnut crying while eating hot dogs at the Nathan's hot dog eating competition with blood all over his back and butt. He should be wearing all white and wearing a hot dog crown. And then he wrote, that probably just wasted 20 gallons of water and 1,000 watts of energy with that prompt. But okay, I remember saying this story not too long ago. Whoever like is in the know about AI, and I don't know how the electricity works or anything, but apparently people say thank you and good morning and are polite to AI, that costs tons of energy. People
Yeah, it's
being
like
too
six.
polite
I think it's like six glasses of water
to
when
say
you say
thank you.
thank you. Yeah. So it's
But you
like
got to be polite.
be nice to everyone, but be fucking rude to Grok. Like
Right. But you don't want them turning on us, these robots. So you do have
they're
to be
going
polite.
to. I saw
And
Blade Runner as a
oh,
kid.
oh, anything, yeah, yeah. All these
Not
movies,
going well.
they don't
I'm
make it
like,
up.
And then there's AI, the Haley Joel Osment one. Like, there's a reason. There's a common theme in all of them.
I say, if it wouldn't inconvenience you too much, AI, please do me the favor of knowing that you're an expert in koala dicks. I need a picture of a koala with an 8-foot dick. Thank you very much. I'm
Jesus.
working on a paper, and if you don't mind,
Yeah. It is scary that kids can't like write an essay anymore.
right?
I'm like, what?
Have you ever used it? I used it.
I've literally never used it, except for like, I know that like when you Google things, it technically now uses AI like the first answer.
Yeah, but it takes and that the first answers, they aren't correct. You
No,
start
they're
noticing
very
that.
wrong. It's kind of funny, honestly.
If I did
No,
a
I've never, I asked my friends recently, like, how do you even like, because I was like, do you guys use it? Like, no, right? And they were like all like, yeah, we've used it. And I was like, for what? And they're like, I don't know. Sometimes they're like, write an essay, like write an email. I'm like, write an email. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I use it to check over my stuff. And I was like, what? Like, how do you even do it? Like, I was like, okay, like the boomer in me, I guess, is like coming out. Like, how do you use the chat GPT? And they were like, well, some of it's free, some of it you have to pay for. And I was like, you pay to have someone write your emails? Like, what? And one of my friends was like, yeah, I work at a company and they like make us use a certain amount of AI. And I was like, you're training it to do your job. And she was like, I know. And I was like, I I like, and I'm like, not to be this person, but like, I am better than you. I don't use AI at all. Like, I do think like this makes me a little bit have a superiority complex. I don't use it. I don't like, granted, like, I'm a writer. So, like, the stuff you'd use it for comes easy to me. And I do understand
right.
that that's probably different. However, I'm like, is our social anxiety as like a society so bad that we need it for writing emails? Or is it going to start writing all of our texts? Like, if I like, am I going to get like you up from Grok? Like,
Are you awake this morning? Hot stuff.
oh God. Yeah. And he's going to be so fucking cringe. He's going to be like, hello. He's going to be also like a Nazi. So I don't know
Right,
what
right.
he's going to be like. Are you having a white morning?
Right.
How do you
I
take your coffee?
I
Like,
would say the only time I used it was when I was moving from New York to Charlotte, and I was writing an email on behalf of my landlord in New York, saying, "I'll write this about I'm a great tenant. You just okay
yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Save him time." And so I'm writing, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck, right? Like, he is very good. He pays rent on time. He is polite. So I go, hey, you know, AI, what do you think? And then I am rating to recommend Keith Malley, who rented from me, blah, blah, blah. During this time, Keith was always respectful and responsible. I'm like, yes, those are the words.
You're like, I
Okay.
was those things. Thank
I
you.
was, yes. Please feel free to contact me if you need any further information. That's so smart. And then I added my shit, like, we'll miss him.
See,
So it
now it would
seems
be like,
human.
and the camp I would send him to is the country to send Keith away to would be he
Um,
does not own enough swastikas for my liking. Like
yeah, you definitely have to read over the work.
his air conditioner unit didn't have a base outside it with a Nazi flag on it.
The how Google does the AI and everything's wrong now because it takes people's
Yeah.
misinformation. There was that show. What was it called? The bitch in Apartment 23, something like
I
that.
used to love that show. Canceled way too soon.
And I think I was talking on Keith and the girl about somebody who lied about where they lived or something, and I called my that episode the bitch with no apartment. If
Mm.
you Google the bitch with no apartment,
Oh God.
it comes up because I was trying to reference that show for some reason. So I Googled that and it comes The Bitch with No Apartment is an ABC show from this to the I'm like, I just changed what Google thinks that show is called. Yeah, we're in
Gosh.
trouble.
That
That's
was a
the
great
point.
show. I liked that they had James
Vanderbeek?
Vanderbeek
Yeah, yeah.
playing like a parody of himself. I thought that was great. I was
Right.
like, more actors should do that.
Agreed. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get real. Okay. We
Hmm.
we had some laughs about the end of the world, but let's get
Yes,
real.
yeah, yeah. We talked about only lighthearted topics today.
If you can fly to Edinburgh
Yes.
or you happen to live there,
Hmm.
come see this show. It sounds fun to me. I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
Leo still dies in the end. It's going to be, let's see, July 30th to August 15th, like you said, at the Gilded Balloon Patter House.
In Dram. That's the name of the theater.
Okay.
Yeah, at 2200, which is 10 p.m. And I had to check that so many
Right,
times
right.
because I kept being like, is 22? And I was like, take away the two, but then like,
Right.
okay, blah blah. No, it's like a very, I know that we talked about like a lot of other things, and I hope it doesn't turn anyone off from coming to the show. Though if anything in this interview
You're
did turn you
okay.
off, you're not gonna like the show.
Right.
Like it because it's a parody, 1000%, with a lot of social commentary in it. Because the one thing I think sometimes is not expressed about the show at face value, which is to me the joy of the
Mm.
show, is like you want to walk into a comedy show and like you think it's about one thing, but it should take you on a bit of a journey, right? Like that is maybe different. Not in a way that's like annoying, but in a way where you come out and
Sure.
you're like, oh, that's full circle. It is a parody reenactment, but it's also also a show about like never letting go of things you love and like nostalgia for aging 90s media. And so that's a
Okay.
big part of the show is like how do we talk about these things that we loved when we saw them and have influenced how we grew up, but also like maybe there's elements and it's okay. It's not like we're not like, oh, cancel Titanic. I love this movie so much.
Right.
It's fun to watch it in 2025 and be like this thing that they're talking about when it comes to class or like gender or socioeconomic divide, like it still applies or
But you don't
maybe it
talk about
doesn't.
disliking Nazis, do you? Because I just want my politics to myself.
Well, there might be a couple of comments here or there. So,
But
I don't think I actually have ever said the word Nazi during it, but like
right.
there might be some implications about things happening in the actual world right now.
What can you see nowadays?
I know. Yeah, so if you don't like if you only like comedy that punches down on people,
Right.
you will not like this show. If you like comedy that punches up on people who deserve it, you will like this show.
I think people are going to love you, quite frankly. I think
Thank
people are,
you.
I think people would dig this show. I'll see it live whenever I can for sure. Um, I don't know if you wonder this, but sometimes I think for a split second, hey, who is a show like the one we just did for? Do our Nazi lovers going to be like, oh, are you calling me dumb? I'm really going to take that in. And I think about it, I'm like, I know who it's for. It's for a young Keith Malley. It's for I'd like to think I'd never be a Nazi lover as a kid if I was still in the country, but I would like to somebody to go, wait, this is dumb as fuck. And just because everybody in my hometown is a Republican that's fallen for these demagogues, doesn't mean that I shouldn't think to myself. And that why is there so much literal hate for people I never met? Because I never
Yeah.
met them. Because in the country I didn't know anybody was gay. It is funny that all my high school classmates that were gay only became gay later. Something must be in the water. Races that I didn't see. Why does it seem like we don't like or trust them? That's why I feel like shows like this are important. And I thank you so much for your time, sincerely.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Excellent. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.